We'll see.
There's a possibility that one could come through. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I love that. Well, tell me more. What are you waiting on? You submitted an offer, and what did the sorry, I'm just trying to I'm listening. I'm trying to stream this to the Facebook too.
Yeah.
Where'd you and the agent leave off on, man?
Right now we're on negotiating the final price. We've gone through inspection, and we found some things that needed to be adjusted, and we're just waiting for the seller to sign off on the adjustment.
When are you supposed to hear something back?
Today.
Oh snap, dude!
Yeah.
That'll be awesome, man. Well, if you hear anything while we're having our meeting, dude, raise your hand and let us know. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
Yo,
Let's see.
Jesse.
Yo, what up, man? Sorry, I've got my browser pulled up. I'm listening. Just so everybody knows.
Bro. No worries. So this morning I did my my 5 offers, and one of them got back to me, and they're willing to take my offer. They said they're willing. I haven't got it on a contract yet, but they want it to be a 10-day inspection period. Now, if I were to bring you this deal, where it uses 70% rule and everything, it seems like it's got a decent spread, but it has a short inspection period. They want time is of the essence for them. Would that be something you could close on?
Yeah, 10 days. No, let me ask you real quick, because I know this is already going through Chris's head, because this is something we face all the time. Is that 10-day inspection period, is that 10 business days, or is that just 10 days? If you don't know, find out real quick.
Clarify. Okay. Let me
find out and let me know.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Yeah, he just took the words right out my mouth. That's
I knew it, man. It's like I knew you or something. No, you. Is Miguel in here by chance? Is this going to be the first one he's missed? Oh, Miguel's not in here. All right, guys, do me a favor real quick. We've got 31 in here so far. I think we're streaming on Facebook. So if there's anybody watching on Facebook and you guys want to come in, jump into the Zoom, interact with us, network with everybody else in the comments. Set yourself up to meet some new people, have some new conversations this week, cause some chaos, get some momentum, get some traction. Jump in here. If you go ahead and search, actually, Chris, are you able to post the link in the comments for everybody?
Doing it right now for you.
You're such a boss, dude. Okay, for everybody else. What's up? Somebody say something?
Yeah, really quick. I just wanted to make a comment on the inspection period. If they're using the FARBAR, the Florida Association of Realtors contract, just realize that that's a 10 calendar day, and folks get tripped up. The only time that extends is if you initiate it on a weekend or a holiday. But even we'll get tripped up, because if you don't count the days right, you could believe that you're getting 10 days when you're really not getting 10 business days, it's 10 calendar days. If you want to be sure, then do 14 total days, because there you're guaranteed 10 real business days.
Okay, so to confirm, what you're saying is the Florida Realtor contract goes off of calendar days rather than business days. So if I wanted to have 10 business days, I should write it down as 14 calendar days, just so I can have confidence that I have the right amount of time.
Yes, sir. And you'll probably get a little bit of a bonus if you go into contract on a weekend or a holiday, because technically it starts the first day, but you don't want to risk that. You just say 14 days and just give yourself 10 business days.
Okay, fantastic. Yo, thanks for sharing that.
Man, Mario coming in with the dunk. Dude, thank you. You
could also add to your additional comments, inspection period is to be in business days. So in additional notes, even if it just says 7 on the Florida contract, it's going to be 7 business days based on your additional terms.
Okay, so to add a clause that says that the inspection period is referring to business days rather than calendar days.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and quickly, you can put it in the bottom as additional terms. Those comments on the bottom override anything on the top. So
Thanks.
Yeah,
That
man.
answer your question, Nathan?
Yeah, there's like no excuses with you guys. Like any problem you have, just dispelled.
Dude, I wanted to bring you up on here. Kind of had this organized a little bit differently, but dude, since you're already up here real quick, we got 36 people in the Zoom right now. We got people watching on Facebook. Let's talk about last night for a second, because I really want it. We've got, guys, do me a favor quick. Actually, before we even get into this real quick, Nathan, do me a favor real quick, guys. We got 36 people watching this right now. Take a screenshot or just go share the link in the free creative group. Please, 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 please. I beg you. The first step in success is just showing up. Okay, we've got people in this Zoom. We got a bunch of people in the chats, that'll say, hey, we're going to do it, but then they don't do it. Now, if you guys don't understand the purpose of this, there's more going on than just sharing this and inviting somebody else in here. People in the free creative group want to work with you guys. When you guys come into the Zoom, you guys need to treat it like you are walking into a boardroom with other business professionals. Okay, go in there, tag Pace, tag Carly, express your gratitude. Say thank you for putting this on, for creating this community for people to be able to come in here and to get value from. We have an amazing guest that we're bringing on today, guys. I am super, super freaking pumped about it. I met this gentleman a few months ago, and it's just been phenomenal what he's been able to do, especially in such a short amount of time. Super high energetic individual. I freaking love him. So I'm really excited to bring him in, but let's get some more people in here. I want to get this to a point, guys, to where we're causing so much noise that Pace comes in here. Who would like Pace to come in here, guys? Wouldn't that be awesome to bring Pace in here as well? Have Pace come in and drop some fire for 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I know he's a super busy guy. The only way that we can do that is if we're making enough noise. If Pace knows that you guys are getting value from these meetings, be intentional. Now, I want to go back to this real quick. If you guys are thinking that, hey, going and sharing this into the free creative group is nothing more than just posting, you're sorely mistaken. Chris, can you bring Miguel up here for a second? I want to pinpoint something. Miguel, are you in here, bro?
Miguel, raise your hand if you're here. I don't think he's in here.
He's not in here? Let me go find the participants. Miguel. Oh, man, he's not in here yet. All right. There's a gentleman who has been very consistent. His name is Miguel. Now, if you guys have been to Chris and I's meetings the last couple months, there's one theme that is absolutely consistent throughout the last couple months. Nathan, do you know what that is? What is one thing that we have talked about that is just, we've hammered the crap out of it, and we will continue doing it every single meeting?
You got to put your reps in. You got to have your consistency, your 5 offers.
Okay. You're 100% right. You got to have your consistency. You got to put your 5 offers in. Now, in order to do that, especially when it comes to your time, you've got to be what? Starts with an I. Anybody in the chat?
Intentional.
Intentional. Thank you, Denise. We have to be intentional with our time. Thank you, Andrew. Have to be intentional. If you guys are going to post something in the Facebook group, for example, and not think of it, I mean, what an opportunity, guys. What an opportunity to bring other people, not only who are in the group, to see, oh my gosh, James is doing something. He's in a Zoom right now. What is he doing? James, hey, hit me up. What is going on? What did you learn? What was your takeaway? James must be doing shit. I want to link up with James. Don't just post it and post the link. If you guys are getting value, if you guys are learning something, share that, because that's going to lead to another conversation. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. The only way that you guys can do that is if you're being intentional. Most people will see this. Most people are not going to take a screenshot or share the link in the Zoom or anything like that. But the people that will, and I wanted to point this out real quick because there's a gentleman who's been in here since day one named Miguel. Miguel is an amazing individual. Miguel, I'm not gonna put his business out there, but Miguel has had some really amazing opportunities present themselves from just him taking action to the smallest little thing, like sharing stuff on Facebook. People have reached out to him, and now he's aligned himself with some fantastic people right now because he's been consistent, because he's been intentional, because it's opened up those conversations. So Chris and I, when we tell you guys to get in there and do something, we're not doing it just to tell you to do it. I don't waste my time. If nothing else, I'm very intentional with my time. And that's something we want to show you guys how to do, so you can cut the learning curve down and you can gain that traction and momentum that you guys are going to eventually get by staying consistent. So it's twofold. Something like that. Something like posting on Facebook is twofold. One, we need to get loud because we want to bring more people in here who either don't know about it, they're looking for the value, they feel lost. Those are more people for you guys to go and do deals with. And two, we want to bring Pace in here. How cool would that be? I think that would be sick. I would love to bring Pace in here and get his perspective. I feel like once a month, that's not enough. Let's get Pace in here, guys. That'd be awesome. And the way that we do that, make sure you guys are expressing gratitude. Let's start our days off with the right mindset and a state of gratitude. You can't be worried about what's going on in your business. You can't be worried about how you're going to make rent at the end of the month, or, when you're going to quit your job. We want to be intentional. So with that said, thank you guys very much for being here. Really appreciate it. Nathan, let's talk about last night for a second.
Just very intimate.
It was probably not in the way. Let's fix that context here, guys. Probably not in the way that Nathan just described it. It was a rated G meeting, but it was intimate, right?
Yeah, it was great. You very politely tore me apart and made me realize where I was. You made me understand the faults in my thinking, and you really pushed me to take action now rather than later.
So share with everybody real quick. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time because we got some really awesome stuff that we're going to get through today, but I did want to bring you up real quick just to kind of give everybody else who feels and who can resonate with where your mindset was last night and what changed and where you are, what happened today and what's going to happen tomorrow and Monday and pretty much the next week. So give us just a little bit of insight. Take maybe 45, 60 seconds real quick and just kind of share with us where your mindset was going into that meeting last night with us.
Yep, absolutely. So I have ADHD and shiny object syndrome. I spent probably about the last 2 weeks putting together a plan of what I need to do, how I need to do it. And then I set the date of the plan to be far in the future. I was procrastinating on it. And Jesse asked me, he said, I might not be saying it quote unquote, but he pretty much said, like, why wait? Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? And he's absolutely correct. I was procrastinating on it. I had fear of getting started, and we worked out the details. We got it in my calendar of exactly how long it's going to take me to do my 5 properties. We have it in my routine so that everything can be done before 10 a.m. so I can then go on and do the rest of my day without having to worry about conflictions in my schedule.
Thank you. Now, why did you, from your perspective, why did it have to wait into the future for everybody else who wasn't on our meeting last night? Like, why, from your standpoint, why were you like, well, this is what I want to do, but I don't want to start this for another 2 or 3 weeks from now?
Absolutely. I had fear that if it conflicted with another thing in my schedule, I wouldn't do it at all. And Jesse dispelled that fear by telling me, wake up earlier. It's literally that simple. Wake up earlier, get it done earlier. Then I don't have to worry about anything later in the day getting in the way of my real estate.
So there was nothing keeping you from starting. I mean, what you thought you needed 2 or 3 weeks to kind of just mentally prepare, to get things in line so you could start taking action. Your mindset was there, right? You were like, man, I want to take action. I want to be consistent. I know what I need to do. You'd already came to Chris and I with hey, this is my 60-day game plan. I want to get going on this thing. But I need to start 2 to 3 weeks because I need to mentally prepare and get everything in order. How long did it take us to do what you thought you needed to do in 2 or 3 weeks?
Not even 30 minutes.
What did I tell you last night? There's a saying, and can anybody else resonate with that? Put it in the comments. I want to say, does anybody else resonate with that? Is there anything that you guys are wanting to do, or things that you guys are wanting to accomplish, or a pivot you're wanting to make, but you're like, man, I need 2 weeks. I need 2 months. You know what? Give me this fourth quarter because I'm really busy right now at work. So let me take the next couple months. Let me finish up what I have at my W-2, and I'll spend, Christmas vacation or something, putting things in line to start off the new year like that. I've talked to so many people that are like that. For some reason, we all have it in our head that, hey, we want to start a new routine, whether that's, starting a business, a new hobby, or, going to the gym. We want to lose weight. But for some reason, we have it in our head like, hey, you know what? Let me lax a little bit. We got Thanksgiving coming up. We got Christmas. Let me just eat. And then January 1st, that's when I'll start. That's when I'll get into my routine. Well, 100%. There's a saying, if you give yourself 30 days to clean your house, it's going to take you 30 days.
Jesse, can I paint an analogy to our conversation last night?
Please.
Okay. Imagine you're on a dock and the water is super cold. And Nathan is standing there at the edge of the dock and he's told Jesse he's going to jump into the water and swim. But he keeps telling Jesse, oh, just 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And then there's Jesse there who just pushes Nathan in. Now, Nathan kept saying 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And every single time 5 minutes would go by, the fear of getting started just compounded and compounded until finally Jesse says, what are you waiting for? And gives me that push into the cold water.
But you know how to swim, right?
I do, but it's all mental. It's all mental. We
right.
Fear it, and when we procrastinate because of fear, it just gets worse and worse. Absolutely.
I freaking love that. Well, thank you very much, Nathan, for being willing to share that. So I hope I didn't put you on the spot, man, but I hope a lot of people got value from just knowing that, hey, I'm not alone. Nathan can do this. I can do this. If Jesse and Chris can do this, I can do this. We've all been there, guys. We've all been there. Chris and I, we're just a couple chapters ahead of you guys. We're all in the same book. We're trying to accomplish the same things. We're just a couple chapters ahead. That's it. And Nathan, I feel like, you tell me, do you feel like you're in a new chapter? Do you feel like you are 1% better today than you were yesterday?
Absolutely. It felt so good after I accomplished all that stuff. And I looked at the clock and it was only 9:30. I spared myself a half an hour.
There you go.
I love it, brother. Well, Nathan, you're awesome, man. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks, sir.
You. Absolutely. Well, guys, let me ask you guys real quick. I want to set this tone real quick for our guest. What if I was to give you guys $86,400 every single day? Today, tomorrow, and basically every day for the rest of your life. Derek Barton's like, count it. I'm in. Derek, let me ask you something, dude. If you knew full and well that Jesse was going to give you 86 G's tomorrow and the next day and the next day, would you be in a scarcity mindset? Would you be like, oh my gosh, I got to save this because I'm going to have to pay my mortgage at some point, or I'm waiting for the other foot to drop? Or if you knew full and well that you were getting $86,000 from Jesse every single day for the rest of your life, would you just live it up? Would you be present and in the moment and taking your family to go do things and living your life the way that you want?
I feel like that's a rhetorical question, but yes, I would.
It's not a trick question, by the way. I'm not trying to provoke and be like, this isn't like a gotcha type thing, but genuinely, if I was going to give you 86 G's, would you take that and go spend it and go live it up?
Yes,
Absolutely, right?
I would.
So let me ask you, we have 86,400 seconds every single day to live it up. It's interesting that most people will look at the cost of a book, a course, a mentorship, a coach, and they'll say, that's risky. I don't know if I got $500 or $5,000 or whatever. I don't know. That's risky. But they'll be the first ones to come to work. I used to work with a bunch of people. For those of you who don't know, I used to be in the Air Force, and I remember even with when I was had only a year or two under my belt when I first came in. I remember people saying, "Oh my gosh, I've only got 86,093 days left until retirement." Or whatever it is. And I'm like, man, that's the equivalent of like 18 years. You're 2 years into it, man. But people, you got 86,400 seconds every single day to go and make the most of something. But when it comes to actually taking a leap and believing in yourself, people are really quick to say, man, that's risky. But then, you know what, on the flip side of that, what's the cost of not doing it? What's the cost of staying in the exact same position every single day for a month, 6 months, 12 months, 18 years? What's that cost look like?
Speaking personally, a lot of it's knowing what steps to take, right? Like you can take random steps and you can take those same 86,000 seconds and you have just wasted 86,000 seconds by taking steps that you're not sure what those steps are.
Did you though? Did those steps that you took, and if they didn't get you anywhere, did you not learn something?
That's the thing. You have to learn from the choices that you make.
Absolutely.
Right? If you look back on the day that you just had and you didn't get anything done, well, then you have to, the next day, change those steps to something
Absolutely,
else, right?
bro.
So it's not just taking steps, it's learning from the steps that you take and then taking different steps if it wasn't getting you towards the goal that you're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. So for everybody who's taken steps and has stumbled into this meeting, we got 52 people on the Zoom right now. You know, there's really no excuse. I mean, you have an entire community to back you. You have people who do know which steps to go. It's up to you to be able to maximize those and to push yourself forward. And it's okay to fail, because just like that scenario, if I was to give you all that money, you could spend it all in one day because you get that same amount the next day. But a lot of people who are trying to get out of their W-2, this guest that I'm going to be bringing on, you know, is going to talk about that a little bit. Him being able to take action on those 86,400 seconds and in such a short time achieve enough success that where he just left his W-2 in just a couple months, which is just absolutely phenomenal, because he's got an entire community just like everybody else does that's in here right now to fall back on. Don't just spend your guys' 86,400 seconds every single day after you get back from work Netflixing and chilling, because people do that for years. For years. Even if, like Derek said, even if you guys take the wrong steps, guess what? You know which steps you're not going to take tomorrow. So just like something simple like posting on Facebook. Most people would take that and go into that with the intention of, oh, I'm just going to post on Facebook. Some people will go into that and say, oh my gosh, who all commented on it? Who reached out to me? How can I connect with these individuals who are wanting to learn more, who are wanting to learn what I'm doing and why I'm in this Zoom? And how can we make money together? Oh my gosh, this guy's doing the Elephant Challenge. I'm in the Elephant Challenge. Hey, what's the Florida market like? Or hey, what's Ohio like? What's Idaho like? What's the Arizona market like? I'm looking in there. Are you a buyer? Are you a wholesaler? Are you a lender? Just like coming into these Zooms, guys. If you guys are just coming in here and you're just wasting 120 minutes, however many seconds that is, then it's just a waste. I mean, hopefully you're getting value from it, but you're not being as intentional as you could be. Get in here, get into the comments, link up with other people, share your numbers, be intentional, find a time to link up with 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people every single day this week and see how fast your knowledge changes, see how fast your mindset changes. Oh, wait, Derek, it's great to see you, by the way, bro.
Likewise, bro. I didn't plan
I
on
love you,
getting-
bro. Thanks for jumping in here, man. Is this the first Zoom you've been on?
Today?
That is valid question.
Oh, freaking love that, bro. No, have you been on this one?
First one, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Long time listener, first time caller. Got a couple of those.
Yeah. No, I didn't even see. I just saw somebody posted a link, so I hopped on.
Oh, dude. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it. I always love listening to you guys.
Thanks, bro. Do you real quick?
It's always more so Jesse.
I know I suck. Real quick, man. Will you have the spotlight real quick? What are you doing? What are you looking for? For everybody who's watching and listening,
Weird.
what does Derek need real quick?
Nah, Derek just needs to help other people. If I focus on myself, my brain starts going in crazy like hypotheticals, right? So the more I focus on just working with other people and trying to help other people, the easier it is for me, because then I don't really think about what I'm trying to accomplish. And then stuff just kind of happens sometimes. So honestly, I don't really need anything other than friends. So I'll put my information in the chat, and I'll put
Do
my
it. Do it.
Whatever.
For everybody watching, man, freaking get with Derek. Derek is Michael Jordan of Sub 2. This guy is freaking amazing. I'm really humbled and blessed, man. You shocked me. I'm tickled pink that you're in here. You're all making me nervous and shit, Derek.
Yeah, well, I'm sweating, so get me off the screen.
All right, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much. It's good to see you, brother. I love you.
Likewise.
All right. Chris, let's bring John in, man. Yo, there he is.
Can you hear me?
At first, I thought when you popped on camera, dude, I was like, oh my gosh, George Clooney's in here.
Except without the grays.
Love it, dude. How are you today, man?
Oh man, I'm excited. I mean, there's no better way to spend this Saturday than just like hanging out with people, talking shop, and just setting the week off right by talking mindset. I mean, Jesse, you clearly have a knack for this thing. I mean, you already have the radio voice, and you just give out so many gems. So appreciate you and Chris for doing this.
Dude, thank you. Thank you very much for jumping on, man. I think you're gonna. I truly want to do something with the three of us, man. I think that would be a lot of fun. I see Zach in here as well. Zach, what up, bro? We all need to be doing something, man. Look at that. He's even got a mic and everything. He's ready to.
That's
rock
what I
and
got to
roll.
get next. I need to get a mic.
Hey
As
there.
Well, dude.
official as you guys.
For those of you guys who don't know, John is a wholesaler. And he is in the Astro community. He actually just spoke at Jamil Damji's mastermind. Phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal.
Yeah,
I think that just speaks volumes, because he's been doing this for what, 10 months, somewhere in that ballpark?
Yep.
Awesome. He's done some phenomenal things. I mean, think about that for a second, guys. John had a W-2 9 months ago. And how long
Was
you
a
been doing this by
CPA.
yourself?
I quit my job in June. June 23rd is my last day. I was a CPA before this, and I had just started getting into wholesaling in the middle of tax season. So it was brutal. I was just wake up at 4 a.m. every day. From 4 to 9, I would do some accounting, and then from 9 to 1, I would do real estate, and then from 1:30 till about 10 o'clock. I would do a mix of both every day, 6 days a week. And then Sundays would be my free days. So I'd spend it more in real estate.
Wow.
Love
So
that.
did you have somebody to sit down and have these types of conversations and say, hey, John, if this is where you're trying to go, maybe we need a time block a little bit better. Maybe you need to be a little bit more intentional with your time. Or is
Jamil.
this something you just kind of figured out?
Jamil, I mean, the Tuesday calls with Jamil, I would attend every single time. And since I had to go to bed early, I would always be intentional of being the first caller or the first speaker always on the coaching calls. So I would make it an intention to always come to the calls and be the first person to speak to him so I could get my questions answered, so I could go to sleep like 20 minutes later. Or I could relax and not stare at a screen again, because I've been staring at a screen for like 14 hours, So I would just do that, and Jamil would tell me to do something, and like the next day I would apply it. So I wouldn't think, well, what do I do? Do I do this? Do I not do this? I would just do it. He said do something, so I did it. And then reaching out to other students in the Astro community, so I would just leverage the community, and that all of that wound up helping me. I mean, yeah, when I started off, I was lost. Like I was doing a little bit of everything: agent outreach, wholesaler outreach, some direct to seller. I didn't know what market I wanted to be in. So I was that guy. It's like, hey, I got nationwide buyers. When you don't, when you say that, unless you're dealing with like Investor Lift or something like that. But I was just getting deals sent to me, and I was like, I don't know the markets. I don't know this. So I was all over the place in the beginning. Did my first deal with another Astro student, did a micro flip with two in California, which is not my market. And it was on the last day of tax season. And I was intentional of getting my first deal done during tax season, because if I could do this while I'm supposed to be working 12 hours a day for my accounting job in the middle of the busiest time of the year, then I could do this whenever the hell I want. So I was like, I need to get a deal done, one deal done before tax season ends. And I got it done on April 15th, the last day of tax season. And then Jamil brought me on stage at Clever Summit and shaved my beard in front of everybody. Because I had a deal beard. I wasn't shaving my beard until I got my first deal done. So then I got it done and he shaved it.
Oh my gosh. I want to highlight, in case you guys missed that there, you said you were working 12-hour days.
For just accounting.
For just accounting.
Yeah. So I would wake up an extra 4 hours so I could get real estate in. So I wake up at 4 in the, I went from waking up at like, I used to wake up at like 6, 7 o'clock sometimes even 9 before this. And then Jamil's like, wake up at 4. And I was like, okay. And the next day I woke up at 4. And the day after that, I woke up at 4 and 4. And then I just became a routine. And I didn't have a morning routine yet. And I don't want to say I didn't have time for a morning routine, because I did, but I would have had to wake up 30 minutes extra, because I just had enough time to do 4 hours of focused real estate work, and then the remaining 12 hours so I didn't fall behind on tax returns.
That is incredible. So did you have any mental struggles of, man, 4 a.m. Are you shitting me? Is there a 4 a.m.? I don't even know what 4 a.m. looks like. Or was it really black and white to where Jamil just said, hey, John, wake up at 4 a.m. And you're like, Roger that, sir. Let's do it.
Yeah. I was like, oof. All right, man, let's do it, because this is what I need to do to get the hell out of this job. I have a vision, I have a purpose that I want to do. So if somebody who already achieves some level of success that I want to achieve is telling me to do something, I'm going to listen to it, because he's already laid out the blueprint. So why reinvent the wheel? Just listen to what he's telling me, because he's telling me it for a reason, right? So I knew I didn't want to do accounting anymore. I didn't want to sacrifice the first 4 months of every year for the remaining 20 more years of my life, right? So if I have to sacrifice 4 hours of sleep to be able to, achieve all the goals that I want, then if I can't sacrifice that, do I really want it bad enough? So that's how I asked my question. And I was like, well, why am I doing this? Why am I waking up at 4 in the morning every day? Oh, that's right. Because I want to retire my parents in a year or two. I want them to be able to live the life that they've always wanted with no stress of money, and just be able to live freely and happy, and see the relief on their faces when I tell them, you guys don't have to work anymore. Like, all the money you guys want, I have coming in. So don't worry. I want to build not-for-profit schools in underprivileged communities and teach financial literacy in those neighborhoods, and then use that not-for-profit to reinvest into the community and build it up. And the biggest stat I want to see is not, oh, crime went down, drugs went down. No, 90% of the people that lived there before the school there is still living in those same buildings. So I want to try to work on changing and creating 10,000 millionaires out of those neighborhoods, so they could go ahead and make a ripple effect and change the poverty line in the world. So that's why I woke up at 4 in the morning. And if I couldn't and I gave up on myself, I'm giving up on all those people that I'm going to try to impact. I'm giving up on all the lives I'm going to try to change. I'm giving up on my parents. So it was a bigger reason than just myself. And that is what I focus on every single day. When I get tired, like, all right, let me take 30 minutes, take a little breather, meditate, relax. And then there's a reason I'm doing this. So just keep going.
Oh my gosh. So was that all? Like, I'm just sitting here trying to picture this together real quick, just between what you just told me and what I see a lot of other people that are struggling, you know, was mindset something that was cognitively and something you were intentional with, or is mindset something that you developed throughout this process? I mean, did you have a whole lot of struggles of, you know, hey, am I even the type of guy that can do this? Am I even the type of guy that can make enough money to impact all these people and to retire my parents and to do all these things? Or was that even something that even crossed your mind? Was it just like, okay, cool, well, I've got a goal and I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and that's how I'm going to start it. And then as you continue doing that, was it just kind of your success became a byproduct of that, which helped fuel your mindset? Like what did was your mindset formulated, I guess what I'm trying to say, as a byproduct of you just staying consistent and being intentional with your time? Or was it something you specifically went out of your way? Like, did you spend time reading books and meditating and talking and having these types of conversations with people? Like, what did that look like? Or maybe it was a combination of both.
Combination of both. I mean, before I joined Astro, I wasn't into meditation. I wasn't into like visualization and affirmations and all of that stuff. I was just like, I want to do something. I don't know what yet, what my purpose is, but I feel like I have one. And I feel it always felt strong. I've always felt a pull, but I never really listened to it because I wasn't like, that wasn't something I looked into. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, and I was always of the mindset, like, it came across as negative, and I was like, I'm just being realistic. You know, that whole thing, like, oh no, I'm not negative, I'm just realistic. Well, I mean, you are negative, and the reason why you're realistic is because you're being negative, you know? So that's how I was. And then I joined Astro, and the first week of Astro is all about mindset. So I started looking into mindset stuff. I'm like, you know what, maybe there's something here. Listen to the course. Then I started listening to like Wayne Dyer. I started listening to what is his name, Earl Nightingale, a couple of Louise Hay, Joe Dispenza, Ed Milet. And then I started going down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, Napoleon Hill was saying this in like the 1930s. Ed Milet saying this in 2022, and everybody that's made it is all saying the same thing. You know, maybe there's something to this thing. So I got real intentional with building my mindset. And when I would go for a run, I don't listen to music anymore. I listen to like podcasts like Ed Milet, or I listen to like Jim Rohn just talking. So because I'm trying to build this muscle up constantly. Because if you want to see change in your external environment, it's impossible if you don't change your internal environment, because your external is just a reflection of your internal, right? So yeah, I could be the smartest guy in the room, but if I don't have a strong mindset, I'm not going anywhere. So I figured, let me focus all of this time and just really build my mindset and really get strong on my mind. And then everything else is just going to follow, because the life is just going to lay out the path for me when I'm building it up and hear the roadmap, you know? So that's how I started getting into it. And just when you do something every single day, you know, it's like when you work out, if I'm going to go do curls every single day, I'm going to have big arms, right? So I just started doing mental curls and started working on having a big mindset brain. So and I still work on it. I'm not like, I've only been doing this 9 months. Jamil's been doing this for years. So I still struggle sometimes. I'm not perfect. So, but when I see myself struggling now, instead of me struggling, I'm like, okay, wait, why am I struggling? What is the reason? Let me start self-reflecting. When I feel defeated, I have a quote, Bruce Lee quote. It says, defeat is a state of mind. No one is ever defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. To me, defeat in anything is merely temporary, and its punishment is but an urge for me to exert greater effort to achieve my goal. Defeat simply tells me that something is wrong in my doing. It is a path leading to success and truth. Every time I feel slightly defeated, I read that, and I'm like, okay, where did I mess up? Where am I learning from? And I'm not going to make that same mistake again.
Wow. There's a lot to unpack there, man. I mean, just look at the comments, dude. Everybody's just going crazy. Mic drop.
I love this stuff.
I love one of the big things that stuck out. I mean, everything was gold. And one of the things that stuck out for me was, you know, your internal or your external is just a direct reflection of what's going on internally.
Yeah.
How you perceive yourself, how you think, the things that you think you are capable of, the things that you allow, like your standard of living, things like waking up at 4 a.m, making your bed, brushing your teeth, staying consistent with those types of things. Your external is a direct reflection of you being consistent in here and what you think you're capable of doing. If you look at where you are in everybody who's listening or is eventually going to end up listening to this. Think about this. Like, where are you in your life right now? What does your relationships look like? How do the people around you treat you? What do you tolerate? Do you tolerate, if you're not where I'm trying not to like get into necessarily material things, but at the same time, we want to, I think a reason a lot of us are doing this is simply because we want to elevate our circumstances. We want to do better for our family. We want to be able to retire them. Well, we can't do any of that kind of stuff without money. So there's more to it. Money is just a tool that allows us the freedom that we're all after to spend the time as we see fit, which obviously, John, it's amazing, what you're doing. And I think you're a prime example of that. But
and also remember, like, we're all on this world, right? Everybody's like, oh, I can't do that. Something I can't do. Oh, they did it. I can't do that. We all could do it. Everybody's born. Everybody's got, blood in their veins. We all are all divine beings created from God, right? Everything else that we're following, society's rules, money, that's all stuff that was made up by somebody at one point in time. So like, and we just abide by that, but we don't have to. Like, we could do whatever we want. We just have to firmly believe we could do whatever we want, and we will be able to do it. So just like you can make up your own future, like you're already living in somebody's made up rules in society. Money is just paper. It's something that, again, was made up. Yeah, we need it to live, but that doesn't mean it's impossible to obtain. So we just have to remember, like, we could do whatever we want. We just have to firmly believe it, feel it, and then just take massive action to get it.
It's almost like being a child, dude.
That's it. That's what I say all the time. You got to have that childlike mindset, because when you're a child, you could do whatever you want. I'm going to be an actress. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be in the NFL. I'm going to do this, that. And then life just comes and starts throwing haymakers at you, and you just get knocked down. And you're like, people telling you can't do it. And then you're like, maybe I can't do it. But why? What changed? People told you can't because they never did. So you got to keep that childlike mindset and just always think you can do whatever you want, and you will. Because like Ed Milet says, you got to be the one in your family if it's not happened yet. Everybody was the one at one point. And before them, did anybody else think they were going to be, wealthy or whatever, or happy? No, it took one person. It only takes one. So why can't you be the one?
Absolutely. Well, 80% of millionaires are self-made. So it's fair to say that most people are going through the same shit, bro.
Right? And think about stuff that's made up, like flying. When they invented flying, airplanes. Like, imagine before then, they're like, dude, humans flying, get the hell out of here. No, that's not going to happen. Somebody's like, yeah, it is. I think it's going to happen. And then it happened. What's his name? Bro, how did I just blank out on who invented the light bulb? You see, I'm not the smartest person.
Thomas Edison.
I'm not the smartest person. I forget stuff. So Thomas Edison, he failed 1,000 times before he had that one successful light bulb. Imagine if he gave up after 999 or gave up after 1,000. Just keep going, and it's eventually going to happen. You have to be persistent.
Absolutely.
Persistence and consistency makes you destined for greatness.
Well, it's like we were talking about a little earlier, right? You got 86,400 seconds every day. You take those steps, you might not get where you are, but guess what? We know what we're not going to do, and we know what is not working.
Yeah. And you might not get where you are yet, but look how far you've come.
Absolutely.
You just turn around like, wow, I started over there and I'm here. I've fell forward so many times that I've actually moved forward. So you just got to keep going. And like everybody I was overthinking crazy. Like I would be like, oh no, I gotta. And then I just started saying, fuck it. That's that when I feel myself overthinking or I feel myself on a topic for way too long, fuck it. Let me just go with my gut, go with my intuition, because 9 times out of 10, my intuition, it knows what to do. I'm just not listening to it. Mm-hmm. And if I make a mistake, well, then I made a mistake. Like bad decision is better than no decision. You know what I mean? So like, as long as you just make a decision, because indecision will not get you anywhere.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that right now.
100%.
Well, you made that decision to wake up at 4 a.m. Think about this. If there's anybody everybody who knows, I mean, I wake up at 3 a.m. John is consistently up at 4 a.m. If there's anybody, who's listening to this and they're thinking, oh my gosh, like I can't do that. There's no way. Like I'd be tired all day. No, I just couldn't get through my day if I did that. Guys, listen, the most simplest of tasks, waking up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to get shit done. I'm up at 5. Anna's like, I'm up at 5:30 every day. And I get up at 3.
How good do you feel at 9 in the morning?
Anna. Do what?
How good do you feel by 9 in the morning when people are waking up and you just crush so much?
Dude, I feel like now, since I started doing that and being more intentional with my time, I feel like my days almost broken up into 3 days now. Like I get 3 days worth of shit done that I would have typically gotten done in one day, dude.
Yeah, man. And so the day gets, like, when you're busy, the day gets away from you. So if you don't have the morning for yourself, what you want to do for the day is probably not going to happen, because everything else is just going to come flying in. So there's just going to be all around. You're going to feel jumbled. So when you wake up at 4 a.m. and you have your set time, like if you don't think you have enough time at 4, then wake up at 3. So like you could always make it up in the morning, go to bed earlier at night. I mean,
absolutely. Well, there's so many benefits to waking up early. One is obviously, like we're talking about, you get so much more done. You're going to be way more accomplished if you're intentional with that time. I think the second one is if you look at some of the, like, let's take some of these fad diets just as an example. Let's take like the 75 hard. How many people in the comments right now think that 75 hard was actually designed to get you into shape? How many people think that that is actually a diet that was and a routine that was set out to get you in shape? Most people who look at that will think, oh, it's just another fad diet, just another fad diet. Gabby hit it on the head. It is 100% mindset. Wake up at 3 a.m. just to fucking see if you can. And once you accomplish that, once you've had that sense of, oh my gosh, okay, I've gotten so much done and I can do that, like it changes your mindset and what you think you're capable of doing. If you guys don't know what the 75 hard is, you gotta drink like a gallon of water a day. You got to do an indoor exercise for 45 minutes and an outdoor exercise for 45 minutes. You've got to read, I forget, is it 30 minutes a day?
10 pages.
Oh, 10 pages a day out of a book. No alcohol, no cheat meals or anything like that. Getting in shape, guys. Getting washboard abs. And I've seen a lot of pictures from success stories, people who are doing the 75 hard. All of that stuff is a byproduct. That's not the intention. The intention is so you get so fucking mentally elevated and stronger that you can go out and you can accomplish these things and you can just annihilate these feats that you never thought you were capable of doing. That's the point of the 75 hard. It's all mindset. So for those of you who are like, well, I can't wake up in the morning, do the 75 hard. Once you get into that routine, like John's saying, like he doesn't like 4 a.m. That's not even a thing on his radar anymore. That's just what time the day starts. That's how we get to work. That's not even a thing. Nathan Harris put, don't be a little bitch. David Coggins.
Dude, the 75 hard challenge is real. Like I did that too. And I purposely did it in the summer because I knew it was gonna be more difficult in the summer. So I wanted to make it extra hard. So I did that starting I started May 10th to July 23rd. Purposely because I knew it was going to be even more difficult than if I did it in the winter, because I really wanted to test myself. So I love consistency challenges. I'm doing a 90-day consistency challenge with myself right now, where I never posted on Instagram before. I have to post every single day for 90 days. And today's day 15. So set a challenge for yourself, something small, like every single day, I'm going to put my left shoe on first and then my right. Something small, stupid, doesn't matter. But make a consistency challenge for yourself. And then at the end of that challenge, you're going to grow as a person because you stayed consistent. You said you're going to do something, you did it. It's just going to rewire your brain.
I'm getting a lot of questions about, John, what time do you go to sleep every day?
So I wind down after 9 o'clock. There's no more screen time. No screen, no phone, no TV, no computer. And then when I have the best sleep, from 9 to 10, I have a nighttime routine. So I'll make like tea, like chamomile tea around like 9 o'clock. I'll play with my cat for like 5 minutes because I felt bad neglecting her. Then I'll meditate, maybe do some affirmations, and then I'll read for like 20 minutes in bed. And then I'll just wind up passing out. And then I'll wake up at 4 and I'll do my routine. If I wind up going to bed at 11 one night because I was out somewhere, I guess I'm not sleeping for as many hours as I want, but I'm still waking up at 4 in the morning.
Absolutely.
And because I have to. because I have my morning routine. I have my morning set. My hours are set for my morning routine, and then any additional personal stuff I want to do, like if I want to organize my desk, I do that before my workday starts. If I want to, record my stuff into QuickBooks or fix my printer or anything personal, I do that in the morning, because then the day is all for my business. And then I schedule time to hang out with my girlfriend, so I don't neglect her either from doing my business.
Yeah, that is amazing.
I agree 1,000%. That's like the #1 question right now with everyone on Facebook. What time did John go to sleep?
I try to be passed out by 10 o'clock. But
Chris,
you got to ask yourself, how many hours of sleep do you need? I could function on 5 to 6 hours, but some people can't, besides 8. So if I go to bed at 9, 10 and I wake up at 4, you might need to go to bed at 8, 9, because you can't, you need more hours of sleep than I do. So really see how many hours of sleep do you need to function at your peak potential.
I love that you said that, John, because I think there's a lot of people who think that just because you wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, that means you're only getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Guys, this isn't a the great thing about success and entrepreneurship and all that kind of stuff is just you have to stay consistent. Like John said, if you need 8 hours of sleep every single day, or you will be a fucking zombie, just schedule that into your damn day. Go to bed at 7 and get your ass up at 3, whatever that looks like. There isn't a science to this saying, hey, you have to wake up at 3 and you only get 3 hours of sleep and you can only do this and you can't have family time. We're trying to build this lifestyle that is integrated with the things we want to do. Notice John pointed out, he schedules time in to play with his cat, to spend time with his girlfriend. So everything is consistent in his life and everything is integrated. He's still moving forward every single day. He's not sacrificing. This isn't like a one or the other. You either get success or you get, you don't get success and you have, silly people surrounding you or whatever.
And one thing that helped, like you were talking about investing in yourself and investing in mentorships and everything. And recently I invested in I guess like a business life coach, essentially. Her name is Tanya Oliver. I don't know if anybody knows her, but she had a course and I joined it. Why? Because I needed it. And, if people are afraid to spend the money, but like I said, money's made up again. It's going to come back to you at some point. So how much is it really worth? Like, is all that time that you could save from hiring somebody that specializes in that worth the amount of money you're going to put in? 100%, because you can't get time back. You can get money back. So I needed to learn how to manage my time more efficiently and effectively. So I went through a business life coach, and I loved it because it helped me change and helped me get more organized and be more clear-headed. So I'm actually productive throughout the day. So that's another thing too. If you're like, oh, I need a life coach. It's not a stupid thing to hire a life coach. I know some people are like, oh, you are okay, guy. Like, no, like you might need one, and it definitely helps a lot. Just like when I invested in Astro, I was like, I'm never going to join a mentorship. I felt a strong pull to invest in Astro, and I did. And I look at it like when I was studying for the CPA exam, I had to buy study materials that I've only had for the 18 months. And once I finished and I passed it, I lost access to it. And that was like $7,000. So like you'll spend money to study for a Series 7, to study for a CPA, and it's not a community, and you're not actually reaching out and speaking to like Jamil and Pace and everybody else that's been successful in it, but you're going to pay it. Why? To get a high paying job. Well, then why are you not going to invest that same amount of money into yourself to, get financial freedom and literally live life on your own terms? Like, I don't understand the disconnect there, but that's how I visualize it too, or looked at it.
Dude, I heard Alex Hormozy say something one time. He said, you can spend $50,000 in education, whether that's a mentorship, whether that's business coaching or life coaching, whatever that looks like based on what it is you're trying to accomplish. And that $50,000 will give you the knowledge, the resources, and the skill set. And in our case, between Pace and Jamil, the community, to go out and literally make millions and millions of dollars. And people would rather spend $80,000 on a degree in underwater basket weaving. Been there.
Dude, I was an art major when I started college. Like, I went to college for the first year and a half. I was studying to be an art major. And I was like, well, I'm not going to make any money, so let me switch my major. And I got lazy and I chose accounting. And then, because it went from A to Z, the topics of the majors. And I just got to AC, which was accounting. I was like, I like numbers. Let me just give it a shot. Like, I was lazy in college. You know what I mean? But I spent money on it to party. So let me just spend money on myself now. And if you really want something, like you're going to look at that as an investment and not just as an expense.
Absolutely. Well, one thing before we pivot here for a second and get more into collaboration and things like that, I want to talk with you as well. One thing to kind of top off the mindset topic, Chris did something that was just it to this day, and it probably for the rest of my life, it'll just fucking blow my mind, man. Like the most basic of human needs, to eat. We were talking about doing things, like the 75 hard and just staying consistent, and then being fit and getting those physical results, that exterior result, like we were talking about, right? Like you got to take care of what's in here to get what you want out there. And beyond intermittent fasting, like I do it because it's something I can stay consistent with. So I usually personally fast for like 18 hours a day, and then I got a 6-hour feeding window. But Chris, just to see if he could do it for no other reason than just say, hey, you know what? I want to try this. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. For those of you guys who are intermittent fasting, you guys can probably sympathize with me. Once my 18-hour mark hits up, if I don't have something lined up to eat right there, like I'm in the pantry, I'm eating my kids' granola bars, and I got a handful of goldfish, and I got all this other, I got Rice Krispie treats and stuff going on. But Chris set out a goal to fast with no preparation, right? No preparation, right, Chris, or no?
No preparation at all.
Just to see if he could do it for 21 days. To go without food for 21 freaking days. The most basic of human needs, man. Like, I think that is just so phenomenal. And that just speaks so much to your mindset and what you think you are capable of doing. To do something like fasting for me, beyond 18 hours, I'm like, gosh, dang, man. But 21 freaking days, it's nuts, bro. I don't know if I've told you this in this plane of language before, bro, but that resonated with me. It was so impactful for me, Chris. And I was like, gosh, dang it, dude. I am so glad you're my partner. I want to be around other people that are going to elevate me, to think bigger, to do things bigger, to challenge myself, to get uncomfortable. For everybody listening real quick, take us through that. Like, where were you in your mindset, and what provoked that, and what were you trying to get out of it?
It's more so not just a lifestyle. It was more so just mindset. If you really set your mind to it, you can do it. There's no ifs and buts about it. You're literally only competing with yourself on a daily basis. Everyone looks at what other people are doing. Me, I look at what I can do. And that's literally how I approached it on a daily basis. Was it easy? No, not at all. The first day I wanted to quit. I was hungry as hell.
It probably didn't help that every day you had a meeting with your business partners. One of them had food in his mouth.
That was every day. Jesse's eating on a daily basis.
It was not intentional, by the way.
But no, absolutely. It's just what I went through. I'll definitely do it again. I'll start tomorrow if I really wanted to. It was the mental the mindset, not just that, the energy I got from it was different. It was a different kind of energy. It's not the energy you just go to the gym and work out like, okay, I'm ready for the day. It was the energy of you can accomplish anything in the world, literally anything. And that's what kept me going on a daily basis. I'm actually thinking about doing a 31-day challenge, but I want to wait it out just a little bit. I know Thanksgiving's coming up, Christmas coming up. But I'll see how that plays out. But overall, when I went through that challenge, it was just, I felt good. The first couple of days was rough, but after that, the different phases that went through my body probably was going through a shock like, Chris, you need to eat. I love seafood. I love cheesecake. Cheesecake can definitely throw me off guard. But I definitely didn't have no cheesecake. I didn't have no seafood. I did a lot of things I thought I couldn't never do. Years ago, if you asked me to do a 21-day fast, I would think you're crazy. No ifs or buts about it. But today, you tell me to do a 31-day fast, when do you want to start? So it's all about the mind shift.
How has that mind shift manifested itself in in your business and as an entrepreneur?
The sky is the limit, man. The sky is the limit. The amount of money that we can make, the amount of opportunities out there is literally limitless. Where if someone come to me and say, "Hey, Chris, you want to take down $100 million portfolio?" 100%. Let's hop on a Zoom. What's the next steps? Versus a couple of years ago, somebody approached me that or text me that, I probably won't respond. But it's more so just the mind, like overall, if you have the mindset of doing something, if you really want to achieve it, you're going to make it happen, no matter what that task is. If you want to achieve if you want to get $100,000 by next month, you can make it happen. If you want to make $1 million by next month, you're going to find out who and how to make that happen. It's just a matter of really staying consistent and being very intentional, as they stated earlier, and making sure that no one gets away of what you're trying to do. You literally, no one, literally mom, dad, sister, brother, family member, don't let no one get in your way. No one's going to stop me. I promise you that. As far as what, we got going on in our business, there's so much going on, which I'm not going to disclose, but there's going to be so many opportunities that's going to change our family's trees for our business. And not just that, the legacies that's going to come about. It's going to be phenomenal. It's phenomenal what's coming. But guys, just if you got to relate to one thing, just go back to mindset. If you're telling yourself you can't do it, you're not going to ever do it. You're going to be in the same situation a year from now, 2 years from now, and you don't want to do that.
I love that,
Definitely
bro.
not. That's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh. You guys are freaking geniuses, man. I'm legit just humbled and grateful to be on this Zoom with you guys. I mean, just the chat is just going crazy, man. I think everybody's just getting so much value from this. So now that we've set the tone, let's talk Elephant Challenge. Let's talk deals. Let's talk agent outreach. Let's talk collaboration. John, why don't you kick us off, man? Let's talk about collaboration for a second.
Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know, me, Chris, Jesse, and then Colin Gibney in the chats, we've been working together on certain deals that I get from when I do my agent outreach, when I get pitched creative to the agents, because I don't know creative, but they do. So I texted Chris one day because Pace gave me homework after the first mastermind I attended to connect with a sub-2 student that's been in for over a year in your market. So Matthew Justice shot me Chris's information. I shot him a text. We got on a call and we're like, all right, let's work together. So whenever I have a creative lead or a creative deal that I pitch to the agent and I get him to set up a conference call between me, Chris and his team, the agent and the seller, I bring those leads straight to them. But I get all the information first. So a lot of times I know a lot of people when they try to work with sub-2 students or they work with Astro students on a certain lead or a deal, they just pass it on to their plate and like, okay, and put their hands up. But that's not how we work. That's not how it's supposed to be. So the reason why we've been able to work well together, and I mean, we have a deal right now on their contract that we got a buyer for, and I just renegotiated with the agent yesterday. So once I get the addendum signed, we're going to close on a deal together. That's a creative deal. It's it's like a sub-2 deal in Florida. But the reason why we're able to work so well is because I understand that when I'm bringing something to them, they're providing me value, but I also have to provide value to them. It's not just a lead, right? So I'll keep track of all the information. I'll figure out the 4 pillars from the agent. I'll schedule the conference call and I'll be on the call listening because I'm trying to learn from them, hearing them speak to the sellers. So then I could be better at pitching it and bring them really hot leads and not waste their time with the dead ones. I'll keep track of it in a sheet and share it with them so they could see everything. You know, when we get off that call, it's up to me to follow up. It's up to me to speak with the agent and schedule another call and see if they're free and get it going. So when you're working with Astro or you're working with sub-2 or you're working with somebody that you want to help you, you have to provide as much value to them as possible by being in charge of that lead, by being in charge of that contact, because they have their own business they're running. They're just trying to help you out. And yeah, we're going to JV and make money together, but that's my lead. Nobody's going to care about your lead more than you. So you should really care about it and keep track of it. So just being transparent, staying on top of your own leads and just having them come on to help you out and provide value that way. That's how you should collaborate. You don't just pass them a lead and be like, all right, let me know what happens, and then let me know when I got to sign stuff and when we get paid. You know, like no, that's not how it's supposed to work. So I know some people do that, not everybody, but I would definitely recommend you are the one in charge. You keep track of it, and you just ask them if they're free for a call. Call them up 5 to 10 minutes before. Let them know what's going on with it. Show them like a piece of paper. I mean, an Excel sheet that has all the information, so it's easy for them to look at. And then we just start the conversation together. Introduce it. I know in the beginning, Chris, I forgot to introduce, and it would just be awkward silence for like first like minute. And then Chris is like, "Hey man, next time, like, you know, get an introduction going." I'm like, "Oh shit, my bad." And then I did that. So he would give me advice in an area that I wasn't well prepared in, which is terms and talking to sellers. And I guess what, I grew from it. And now I'm working with Colin, and I speak to Colin and Chris almost every day. And we've had like a nice friendship grow from it. So provide value to each other. Don't just try to take. That's the best way you can collaborate with people, I personally think.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And he touched on something, you know, it's more so about the relationships, right? When reaching out to someone, you got to lead with value. You're not trying to just like, hey, just take my lead. Let me know what happens. Let me know we're going to close. You're working this together. If you really want to learn and grow from not just the creative side of things, from just all bases, you know, you really got to understand exactly what's going on in the process. And don't get me wrong, there's some people like to be hands off, and that's totally fine, as long as you set up the expectation and the upfront contract of what's really going on. But John, in his situation, John has a very organized system where essentially you have what, over 600 to 800 agents that's in your database that you reach out to?
I have right now 834 agents in my database over the last 3 months.
That's over 3 months. And a lot of people we communicate with, they tell us specifically, agents don't answer the phone, agents don't do this, agents don't do that. But John has a method, which John, if you don't mind, I would like you to touch on that as far as how you keep organized and what that looks like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so I mean, my routine is pretty much, I'll wake up. So 70% of my day now is follow-up, and then the remaining 30% of my outreach is new agent outreach. So I want to get my follow-ups done. I could wake up one day and I have 75 to 80 follow-ups to do. I don't call new agents yet until I follow up, because again, with agent outreach, it's not transactional. I'm not only worrying about a specific property. I want to build a relationship with them. So follow up is consistently and is key, because as everybody says, 70% of the deals you do is not on the hello, it's on the hello again. You know, so you want to stay consistent with your follow-ups. And you already built that relationship, or you built a rapport already, so you want to nurture it. So that's why 70% of my morning is on my follow-ups. And then once I get my follow-ups done, that's when I go and I start calling new agents that I've gotten from, I use Privy. So every morning or every Sunday, or even morning after my morning routine, I'll go on Privy and I'll see what's available. I'll get all the agents' information, like their cell phone number, their email, if I can find it. And then I'll import them into my CRM. I personally use Close CRM, but you know, you could use Go High Level, REI Reply. Like there's a bunch of CRMs. Don't get too bogged down in the CRM, but I would definitely recommend getting one that has a text and a call function built in, like Go High Level and Close do. It helps you stay really organized. But then I'll import them to my CRM and I'll save them as like their own little, it's called a Smart View and Close. It's its own little like database. And those are all the new agents I got to call. So I'll follow up with all of my new ones my old ones first. If they give me properties, I'll accumulate them on a Word document. That's just the address. Because I don't call comp offer. I strictly call for 4.5 hours and do nothing else besides calling and outreach. They give me an address, I put it on my deal accumulation worksheet. And then after I'm done calling for 4.5 hours, with mix of follow-ups and new agents, I'll take a little break to eat, you know, give my mind a little breather. And then I'm going to go to that Word document and I'm going to comp every single address. And then when I comp them all, I have an Excel spreadsheet that I keep track of every single address I've comped. And the headings are literally the agent, the address, the days on market, the ARV, my MAO, my offer price, list price, the difference between my offer and the list price, the day I comped it, my offer date, response, the date I got a response, and then additional notes, like if it's pending or not. So I keep track of that. So I have like 535 addresses right now from end of June until today on a Google sheet, because that's when I started tracking when I was full time. So now when I'm like, if somebody brings me a lead that they get locked up, I'm like, wait, I definitely saw this one. What was my ARV again? Oh, there it is. Hey, no, I'm gonna have to be at this. So it makes even micro flips easier. If I want to follow up on properties and like 3 weeks later, I'll go and I filtered the column. So I'll go, let me look for properties that have been listed for over 80 days that I had 120 differential between my offer and list price. And let me go see and call up those agents again and then shoot out my offer again. So it helps you say follow up. It helps you keep track of your comms, helps you keep track of your follow-ups on which properties you want to look at again and send the offer to. And you could also keep track of, hey, I offered 160 and then this one went pending and I just see it just sold for like 205. Okay, cool. Who was the buyer on that one? And then let me call this guy up, see if he wants to buy some more properties. And you could get a buyer from that too. So it keeps track of all my addresses that way manually. I'm going to hire a VA now to go back, because every 2 weeks I would look at every single address and see the status on it. I'm going to hire somebody else to do that now, because that's just for 530 something addresses and growing. It's going to take me a whole day to do that. So I'm going to I'm going to outsource that. But my day is 9 to 12:30. I'm calling, outreach, take a little break, maybe 30 minutes. Then from 1 to like 3, depending on how many addresses I have, I count them all and then I check, and then I either submit my offers or I price check the agent or I defer. And then once I'm done with that, I continue doing outreach until I hit my KPIs essentially. And my KPIs are 50 conversations full time, not phone calls, like 50 actual conversations, whether it be text message or phone calls. And then 5.
Why they needed a host? Bro, pull out.
There we go. Sorry, John, real quick. Let me, I had to mute everybody.
Okay, cool. And then 5 quality offers. If I don't get my 5 quality, I get 3 quality. I'd rather 3 quality offers than 3 quality and 2 just shit offers that are gonna ruin the relationship with the agent. Okay, because if you're gonna submit an offer just to get a KPI number, for a fact it's not gonna get accepted and it's gonna ruin the relationship with the agent, then what's the point of sending out that offer to track a number that literally means nothing? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you want quality offers.
So John, let me ask you this. You mentioned KPIs. How important is that?
Oh my God, so important.
Let's
So important.
real quick. Sorry, even before that, what is a KPI, John?
Oh, a key performance indicator. It pretty much measures how your business is doing. It's a good measurement tool to see. I've made 100 offers in the month of August and I've gotten, 3 accepted. So now I know where my baseline is. So like, let's see, how can I build that? So you want to see how you're doing, because otherwise you're like, what's actually going on? How many am I calling? How many offers am I making? How many did I get accepted? What's my acceptance rate? It helps you measure and track your performance. So you definitely want to keep track. And I wasn't until I started full time. And I got very intentional with keeping track of my KPIs. And you could say, wow, I had a really good day that day. What did I do differently that day? Okay, I got a lot of offers accepted that day. Oh, that was the week that I went back and I re-looked at all of those properties that were listed for over 80 days and I had $120,000 difference in my offer price. Okay. So you could really look and digest your business that way.
So thank you for that. For everybody who's doing the elephant challenge, the standard that has been put out there is 5 offers a day. So that's something that you guys need to get going and to organize your day, kind of like how we spent the first half of the Zoom talking about, and just being intentional with your time, organizing your day. If you need to wake up earlier so you can make sure that you get those 5 offers in every single day and that you're consistent with it. Once you guys are doing that, this gets into more what John's talking about right now is once you start putting 5 offers in every single day and you're, once you finally get somebody who says yes, there's a KPI. How many offers did you have to make in order to get that one yes?
Mm-hmm.
And then
does
that turn into a deal or does that turn into a no?
Exactly.
So we need to keep going, and you got to stay consistent with it every single day and not get so consumed with, oh my gosh, an agent just said yes. Because that one thought, and you start focusing and dialing in on that one yes, is going to keep you from being consistent. Because for those of you who don't know, wholesaling is a numbers game. You're going to get so many yeses. Not all of those yeses are going to be actual deals. You have to get X amount of offers in every single day or every single month or whatever that looks like. to get so many yeses. And then once you get so many yeses, only a certain amount of those are going to turn into actual deals. And this is what John is talking about right now. If you guys aren't tracking that, then how do you know how to scale? Let's say you guys are staying consistent with 5 deals a day. And let's say that averages out to 1 deal a month. And you, because maybe you have a W2, maybe you have other things going on, whatever that is, you're like, well, I want to do more than 1 deal a month, but I don't know how to scale this. Well, John, just like he just got done saying, he's bringing in a VA to handle some of this other stuff so he can focus his intention on more high level stuff. So then you can start bringing in a VA to make those 5 offers, train them to put those 5 offers in every single day. And then either you can match what that VA is doing, and now your KPIs will allow you to either get 2 or 3 deals a month, or you go focus on other high level stuff in your business, whatever that looks like. But that's the reason why we need to be tracking those KPIs, so you know where your business stands, how it's performing, and how you continue growing and amplifying that. So I just wanted to kind of articulate that and bring that back to what you guys are learning and doing in the Elephant Challenge right now, and why the standard has been set for 5 offers every single day. That's where we need to start.
And
So
I see
anyway,
a lot of questions in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on that. I think we're saying the same thing.
The offers, and then if I call Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Do I call Saturday and Sunday? I do. But I don't have as much response rate on a Sunday. I've had some really good Saturdays and even some good Sundays, but I still call them. I mean, if an agent has a property sitting for 60, 70 days on market, if they get a call on a Sunday of an interested investor, they're probably going to answer it. So you're not on holidays. I tend to stay away. Maybe I'll shoot some text messages, but I won't call. But I'll also call every single day. Yeah. Now, what's a quality offer versus what's not a quality offer? Well, quality offer is, let's just say it's been 60 days on market or so, and you're only like 80K below list price, which really isn't that bad. Like, I'll send over that offer. But if it's like new and I'm like $250,000 below list price and I still send that offer, that's not a quality offer. That's just like, why are you wasting my time with this? You know what I mean? So like, a good quality offer is one where you actually think there's a chance of it getting accepted. If it's a little too high, so what I do is, and I'm starting to change this a little bit, is now anything where I'm 50K or below, I'm just shooting it out. I'm sending them an email with attached my proof of funds, and I have an offer sheet that I download to a PDF, and I put it in an email and I send it to them. Anything 50K to 100K, I'm just going to call them up, tell them where my offer is at, and, you know, just let them know I'll be paying closing costs except for agent commissions, and I want them to represent me. What's the best email, even if I have it? And then I'll send out that offer. Once I'm $100,000 to $200,000 of a difference, I'm price checking the agent. What does price checking mean? It's, I call them up and I don't text them. I call them. I do a lot of calling. I don't really text blast. I don't text my offers too much. I'm always calling the agent to build a relationship. So I'll call them up and I'll say something like, hey, you know, I was looking at the, 123 Main Street. I see it's listed for like 370. I'm only getting an ARV of like 365. I imagine the seller wanted this price, so they told you to list it at that price, right? And they'll be like, no, or yeah, it's what they want. Oh yeah, well, based on what I'm seeing in the ARV, like, I'm gonna have to be in like the high ones for this one. If I'm in the low twos, I'll say I'm gonna have to be in like the high ones for this. I'm not sure if your sell's ready for something like this. What do you think? Yeah, just send my offer out. We got nothing on the table. All right, cool. I'll shoot you an email over. Or if they're like, no, this is based on CMAs or comps in the area. Okay, cool. Can you please send me over the CMA? I might be missing something. I could overlook something, but send it to me anyway. I'll take a look. There might be a way for me to come up on my ARV and on my offer. 9 out of 10 times, those CMAs do not check out. I'm telling you right now, they're using comps that are over 10 years old, newer than ours. They're going across a major highway to another city. So I still look at it, and then I'll call them back up and be like, I looked at the CMA. I do appreciate you sending that over to me. Unfortunately, a lot of those comps are a little too new for me. So I still feel really confident in my ARV, and because of that, I'm gonna be in the high ones. And if they're like, oh, high ones, no, come on, man, ARV. Listen, I know we might be a little too far off right now. So here's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to waste your time. I'm not wasting my time, and I don't want to waste the seller. So I'm gonna give it another 3 weeks. If it's still listed in 3 weeks, I'm gonna shoot you over my offer in the high ones. How's that sound? Okay, perfect, thanks. Well, in the middle of those 3 weeks, if anything else comes into your, pipeline, please bring it to me. And then 3 weeks later, that property usually is still listed, or had just gotten canceled from another wholesaler. Call them up and say, hey, I spoke to you 3 weeks ago. I told you my offer was going to be in the high ones. Are there any on the table right now that are entertaining? No? Cool. I'm going to send you over my offer. What's your email? Boom. And then you don't get any pushback. So that's a quality offer. And then anything that I'm 200K or above, if it's just like no comps or anything, I'm not even going to waste their time with a call. I'll shoot them a text, just tell them it's not going to work for me. But if I'm really high, I'll call them. Or if I'm like, I'm still not going to offer on this. Like if it's a 2-day-old listing and I'm $250,000 below, I'm just going to defer. And I'll be like, hey, you know, I took a look. It's not going to work for me at or around the asking price. So I'm going to give this like another month. If it's still listed, I'll check it out again. Something like that. So that's kind of like the method I do based on, that's why I like that differential column, because I can see, am I going to offer, price check, or defer this address?
Let me ask you something. And I've had it, Chris and I have had a couple of people send us properties just this week that kind of were in this scenario. So I kind of wanted to deep dive and expand on what you're talking about a little bit more. If somebody has a property that's flipped, brand new, fully renovated property, let's say they're listing it at 250,000, and somebody in here wants to go to that agent and offer 220,000. Let's talk about that for a second. Is that a good deal? Is that not a good deal? We've had a couple of people in the comments say, hey, what is a good offer? What's the semantics going on there? Like, why is that actually not a good offer for somebody to go ahead and offer 220,000 for a fully renovated property at 250?
What other value can your buyer add to that? You know what I mean? Like, why am I going to go pay cash for a fully renovated property when I can't put any? We're just trying to sell potential. The potential's already realized in that property, and it's not selling at the ARV that the seller had calculated. So if the only time I'll ever offer on a renovated property is creative, or if I know I have somebody that's buying turnkey that doesn't care. Like, if you don't have buyers for it, then there's no reason for you to offer on it. Like, I don't have developer buyers. I'm not going to go offer on land. Because what am I going to do with that? You know what I mean? I don't have, if I have a buyer, my buyer's minimum is 800 square foot. I'm not going to go offer on a 700 square foot house. It's not quality. I'm not going to sell that thing. So, and like, you can't, I don't say you can't because I don't like that term, but like, it's very, very difficult to wholesale a fully remodeled home. Okay. Don't waste your time on that stuff.
On a cash offer.
Hedge fund connections. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's a shiny out. Just get away from it. If they're open and creative, hey, that's a different story. Connect with a sub-2 student if you're not, but don't waste your time on that stuff. There's so many distressed dated properties. Like, don't go for those remodeled ones. Like, people used to bring Jamil comps. I'm like, hey man, I think it's a deal. Can you comp this? And it's a beautiful remodel that's been sitting for 60 days. Dude, no, don't waste your time on that stuff.
Absolutely. So think about it from this way, guys. Let's say that me and Chris did a fix and flip. Okay, let's say we bought a property for 100,000. We went and put 50,000 into it. And let's say we borrowed 50 grand from John. Say John loaned Chris and I 50 G's to go and flip this house. And we go ahead and list it on the market for 220 or 230, whatever. I'm just throwing some numbers out here real quick to make a point. If you go ahead, let's say we listed at 220 and you go ahead and offer me 200. If I accept that offer at 200,000, for a fully renovated property, after I pay title or closing costs, commissions, all that kind of stuff that's got to come out of it, I'm sitting at 180. And don't forget, John's got to be able to make money off this. We've got to be able to make money off this. There's no spread. There's no spread. I can't go and pay John off. I can't pay my lenders off. In that example, like I said, we got a couple properties where somebody rehabbed a property and they listed it for 250 and they wanted to offer 220 on it. If you guys offer 220, you know, maybe that could be the difference. Maybe they needed to be at 250 in order to get the funds to pay their lender off. So we can't go in and offer a cash offer like John was saying, because we can't go in and we can't do anything with it. If we buy it at ARV in cash, what are we going to put into it? What are we going to turn around and do with that? We can't. It's already not selling at 250.
Yeah.
And supposedly it's worth 250.
Yeah, don't waste your time on those fully remodeled properties. Like, if somebody sends me like, I got a great micro flip turnkey Airbnb, I'm like, don't send that to me.
a lot of times the creative doesn't even work on that, because if we go do creative, like if me and Chris fix and flip a property and we go borrow 50 G's from John, and somebody's like, hey, let me buy this from you creatively, let me make payments to you. How does that help us? John's expecting his freaking money back right now and then some. How am I supposed to pay John off?
Yeah. I flipped the property for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm the seller did that for a reason. He didn't do that he probably has hard money on it right now. He's got to pay off. So it's like, can it be done? Yeah. I mean, you could do anything, right? That's like the whole moral of the story that we've spoken in the morning. But like, do you want to waste your time doing that? No. You could spend so much more time looking at deals that are actually deals that need potential, that need value added to them. So don't go get caught up. This will make for a great Airbnb. I mean, guys, we're going through a recession right now. The first thing that people stop doing is taking vacations. So don't try to wholesale it saying it's an Airbnb. You could buy your own Airbnbs creatively, do whatever you want, but like wholesaling them and saying the only exit strategy is Airbnb is very dangerous.
100%.
So
100%.
you need it to work for at least 2 exit strategies for a young buyer. They could either flip it or they could rent it out, either short-term or long-term. So you don't want to just leave them with just a really risky exit strategy. It's going to be so hard to sell. Again, unless you have a specific buyer telling you he's looking specifically for that. That's a whole different story. I'm just talking more general.
100%. There's an exception to the rule for everything, right? Where it's not going to sit here and say you can't do it, and we're not going to say that as a blanketed statement, but just being what am I trying to say here? What's the word? Being aware, I guess, of kind of just what's the bigger picture going on. If this is a fix and flip, odds are it's probably not a family of 6 that moved in here and just completely renovated the house. You know, they did $100,000, rehab on this thing. Odds are it's probably a fix and flipper. Yeah. They had to go out and borrow funds. And so going in there and either lowballing, throwing a cash offer out for a wholesale offer, or pitching creative probably isn't going to work, because they've got to pay their lenders off. The lender's not going to accept $5,000 when he's expecting his $100,000 return and then some. So just kind of being aware of those things and what the order of operations are. Just, looking at it from a 30,000 foot view, all that kind of just ties into what John's talking about when he's talking about putting in a good offer.
Yeah. And Gabby, I was using 60% of ARV because buyers were buying a little above like 65. Buyers are now buying like around 53 to 57% based on the market research I've been doing in certain areas of Tampa. So I got to be lower. So I don't really estimate rehab. I don't do any of that, because if I know I have buyers buying from 53 to 57% all in, I just have to lock it up lower than that. So I could lock it up at like 48% if I want, or I could just do 53% less any of the major like roof, HVAC, water heater, and then less my wholesale fee, and that could be my offer price. So I'm not going to go ahead and estimate their flip profit. I'm not going to estimate how much I think they're going to spend. I could have an idea if they ask me, but I'm basing my offer. What are buyers buying at? Okay, let me take like 5 to 10% off of that, and that's my offer price. Nice. So, because you want to give it to them at the percent they're buying. If they're buying all in, everything included, 53%. Okay, cool. So I don't have to. It's all baked into that percentage. So that's what I have to give it to them at or less than 53%. So that's how I adjust my offers. And I do market research every month just to see what buyers are buying at. My partner is talking to buyers every single day. So we figure out where are they buying at, and then we just adjust our numbers every month accordingly. You have to always be adjusting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Chris Contetos from Facebook said, with the hurricane that just happened, which cities are still good at actually the wholesaling?
Yeah, so I mean, I know like Fort Myers is you can't touch Fort Myers right now. That one got devastated. There are certain areas in like Orlando, Kissimmee that got hit. But what I'm doing is I'm talking to agents. I'm saying Tampa and St. Pete's fine, right? So I'll call them up like, hey, did you guys get hit hard? No, like we're good. Like, but I have people down in Fort Myers, or I have people down in like the Sarasota area that are doing. So you could talk to agents and find it out. You could also watch the news and just look up the areas that got hit by the hurricane. The places that did get hit hard are the ones that you should probably hold off on for a while, because either active flips got destroyed, people lost their homes. I know a deal that just fell through in Tampa because the end buyer literally lost his home during the hurricane. So he's not buying anymore either. So how do you know? You're going to have to go ahead and Google, like, where did the hurricane path go? Speak to agents and see which cities got hit. Watch the news regarding Florida. Look, sign up for like Florida, like news reports and stuff like that. But pretty much like some parts of the south of Florida got hit hard. Anywhere like above like Sarasota was pretty okay. And like even Orlando just got heavy rains. So just have those conversations with the agents. But yeah, Fort Myers, I know that place got absolutely decimated, which is very sad to see. I wouldn't really be calling asking people if they're selling their homes right now, because a lot of them don't even have homes to sell. So it's just, you gotta, after natural disaster like that, you gotta take into consideration like the human effect. Like there are people struggling right now. They're not even thinking of selling their homes. So that's what you
Absolutely.
gotta.
Bro, to go along
Absolutely.
with that real quick, is Mana in here, Chris?
Yes, they're in there.
Mana, bring Mana up real quick.
Anna and Maj, can you raise your hand real quick so I can find you guys?
Which part of Mana?
Which side? That
So
is
those
true.
of you guys who don't know, we work with Mana. Maj and Anna are amazing freaking individuals. Absolutely love them. And that's their celebrity name. It's kind of like the Brangelina type deal. So just together, they're Mana. They're Mana.
Maj, there you are.
Anna, how are you today?
You guys are muted.
Oh, maybe I got to
got
ask you guys to unmute.
I got it, Jesse.
Oh, you got it? Okay, cool.
No worries. Can you guys hear?
Yes, how's it going?
Freaking awesome. I just wanted to bring you guys up real quick. To go along with what John was talking about, agent outreach. That's something you guys are doing right now.
Correct.
How have you guys stayed organized specifically with putting offers in and then also making sure that you're growing your network? You guys are getting information in the markets you guys are investing in. What are some of the things that you guys have done, especially this week, in order to fulfill that and to stay consistent?
So the first thing that we started implementing with your help actually was time blocking. So assigning a task for a specific period of time and just sticking to it instead of just being all over the place with different tasks has been super life-changing. And then just understanding what the strategy is, right? So staying consistent with the strategy is also really important, because most agents and most properties will fit your strategy versus trying to spread out multiple strategies and not hitting anything, right? So that shotgun approach will apply to almost anything, and it just won't work the way that you want it to, and you won't be seeing those results. So being super strategic and really sticking to it is also super key. Let's see, an organization, I guess I am the type of person that I like to write everything down. So it just really depends on that type of person that you are. So like John was talking about, the way that he writes down his spreadsheets. I like to write things down on either paper or a board, because I can just ingrain it in my head and kind of see it come to reality in different ways. And I'm just that type of person. I know Maj likes to use his computer a lot. So it just really depends. But as long as you have a system where you can just put it on there and see it and see the journey of that lead or the journey of that property or your own journey with KPIs, then you're going to be pretty observant of the whole picture, and you're going to know where to tweak things out. Those are the biggest things that we do.
I freaking love that. How are you opening up the conversation when you guys reach out to agents?
So I think with at least me, I really just try to feel out first what the attitude of the agent is when you ask them questions about the property, right? So it also depends on how long the property has been sitting on the market for. A lot of the times these people are frustrated, right? They probably have a bunch of wholesalers asking wrong questions or just being annoying and not really knowing how to approach the conversation. So you got to just feel for their language and how they're approaching that conversation with you, and see if it's a good time to pitch whatever you're trying to pitch, right? So if you're just doing cash and pitching cash, then, it's probably going to be a little bit easier than if you're pitching creative. So Maj and I pitch creative a lot because it's our main strategy, right? Being sub to students and all that stuff is what we know the most. And so, if you stick to the strategy and listen to their language, you're going to be able to know how to word things out. So a lot of the times the method that I use is Socratic method. So I ask a lot of questions and answers and just expect those answers from them, We are also in sales. We have a cleaning business. So it's the same method that we use with our customers when trying to sell other products or, just trying to understand what they're trying to get done. So, getting a lot of yeses and all those stuff. It also helps a lot in that strategy and try to help them get to why creative is a good option by themselves, right? So you're not trying to convince them, you're just trying to help them get to that decision or that realization by themselves. And that's just mostly how we approach those conversations.
Amazing.
Yeah, to touch on that, Jesse, with opening in the conversation, I really just straight up tell them like, hey, I'm checking out your property. I'm an investor. I'm not an agent. Because a lot of the agents, they're just like, are you an agent?
Recording in progress. Sorry, I just had to do that.
Or memory.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
kick
good.
out of that.
Hey, I get quick on my feet with those type of things, but that helped out a lot. But yeah, I just really just point out the fact that their property's been sitting on the market for quite some time, and how that's been going with the seller. Have they had the conversation with the seller if they're open to creative? And 90% of the time, agents aren't aware of what creative means. Some of them kind of get defensive, and the other half is they're just like, hey, what is that? What does that mean? And that's where I kind of walk them down the street of what creative means, seller finance subject to, and if they've had that conversation. And some of them are just like, you know what, I like it. How about you just send us an email? And then at that point, I do write up an email and send it to them and just let them know like, hey, this is just an option. I want to be a tool on your tool belt if you haven't presented your seller with any other offers on the table. And myself in particular, we decided this recently. I'm working in Colorado, Anna's working in Florida. I always love Florida, so that's why I'm hopping in here. And of course, being with Colin, Jesse, and Chris, just supporting y'all always. And I appreciate y'all's support and everything that y'all do, in this. So it's been a great journey for sure.
Appreciate you too, man.
Thanks, brother. Love you, man. Yeah, I'm grateful for you guys as well. And thank you for coming on here and sharing a little bit about what you guys are doing and the things that you guys have learned. I think the way that you guys have positioned yourself and the clarity and the consistency that you guys are taking, I think a lot of people get a lot of value from that. So just hearing how you guys are specifically like, this doesn't, let me be more specific, guys, just real quick. If you guys didn't already catch this, Mana is setting time aside in their day to specifically just call and talk to agents. Now, let me be even more so stinking specific right now. This time that they're setting aside, that's not time that they're calling and talking to agents and submitting offers. They've specifically set time aside just to say, hey, what's up? My name is Anna. My name is Maj. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm looking for. How are you? What are you seeing in your market? What's the scuttlebutt? What's the word around the water cooler at the brokerage? What are you guys seeing on your end? How can I just leverage myself? How can I be an extra resource for you? How can I be a tool on your tool belt? They're setting time aside specifically just to say hello, to build their network. Like I said, that time doesn't include, hey, by the way, I've got an offer. That's time set aside just to build their freaking network. And they're doing it every single day. They've time blocked that shit.
Mm-hmm.
The point in the end is for deals to come to you, right? If you're an investor, you want those deals to come to you as much as possible because then you're saving on so much time. And that's what we aim for in this business and in life, right? When you're trying to make big money moves, you're trying to save on time as much as possible. And when you have those deals coming to you, in the end, all you have to do is probably just comp. Is it a good deal? Yes, no, yes. Okay, cool. Here's my offer. Does it go through? Sweet. Right. So you don't want to spend so much time looking for deals as much as you want them to just come to you. And that's why building your network is incredibly important.
Yeah, and you guys are calling too, which is even better because a lot of people like, oh, let me just text blast. Let me text agents. Oh, they're not responding to my text messages. Well, yeah, because they get blown up and they don't know if you're real or a robot. So when you call the agents and you have those conversations and like you want to put your personality into the conversation too. You're not just like, hey, okay, how's the roof? Okay. Okay. Like you want to like speak to them, like you're trying to build relationships with them. So like I always look at listings, they're icebreakers. I'm not cold calling an agent. I'm calling an agent on a specific property. It's an icebreaker. It's something to talk about, especially if they have pain about it. So you call them on it. You weave your personality in there. Like, yeah, you could maybe, if you like to tell jokes, you can maybe tell a joke, because if you make an agent laugh, you know, I'm sure they're going to remember you. I always congratulate them if they just close on a property that I was following up on, or if it's pending, you know, rooting for that one. You know, when's IP going to close? Because maybe I could follow up with you when IP, if it doesn't go through. So like you want to throw your personality into those conversations too. You want to like build a relationship with them, because don't look at it for, I'm only calling them on this listing. No, I'm calling them on this listing to build a relationship. So 3 months down the line, they start sending me their pocket listings before it's even listed. And I start getting off market deals from them. So really, 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 really want to hammer into the relationship aspect and trying to solve their problems, which is why I now started pitching creative to agents too. But after I know it doesn't work for cash. And then they just made me realize one thing that I always, the talking points, people are like, what do I ask listing agents? What do I say? What are the questions? So I broke it down into, there's buckets of how I look at the listing. And it starts from Zillow, right? I look at Zillow, and if I check to see, is there a price cut? What's the status? Is it pending or is it for sale? Is there an HOA? What's the overview telling me? Is it telling me about the age of like the major items? Or is it telling me there's a tenant in place? Does it tell me there's like foundation issues or a sinkhole? I see if there's an open house or not coming up soon. Then I look at the price history and I see, has it gone pending before? How many times did they drop the price? Did they just buy it? Did they take it off the market for a little while? And I just touch on those subjects. And I just ask the questions and it flows smooth, right? If they touch on something, then I'm about to ask, like, oh, it just went pending, but it fell through because it's cloth wiring in the house and it failed inspection. Okay, did they fix that, or is it still an issue? No, it's still an issue. Gotcha. So you want to ask those questions, and you also want to look at the days on market compared to the views. Do they have a high days on market with a bunch of views? Maybe they've probably gotten their fair share of offers and they haven't accepted them yet. That might be a good creative pitch because the seller's probably stuck on a number. So you want to, the listing tells you a story. So you want to read that story really quickly and have your little cliff notes of what you're going to ask the agent before you call them. And I also don't comp a property until I've spoken to that agent. I'm not wasting my time comping a property 5 to 10 minutes, call that agent 4 or 5 times over the next month and never hear from them. And I just wasted 5 minutes that I could have been doing something else. So I'm always calling first.
That is key. A lot of people will spend so much time underwriting, trying to find a formula, trying to do all these other things, but don't even know the whole situation. How do you know there's not like 5 different offers already in and that she forgot to change the for sale to pending? You just don't know.
And how do you know if there's like, I had an agent, didn't even say it on the listing, tell me there's a sinkhole in the property. I'm like, well, thank God I called you because now I'm not offering on this. So it's like, you want to get the story first before you start doing your due diligence on the property. So definitely call them first. And then I always ask the question at the end. All right, cool. So I'm going to run the numbers on this one. I'm going to see where they're coming back at. But by any chance you have anything else in similar or worse condition I could take a look at too? And then they'll put, I have something coming up in 2 weeks. Cool. Can I maybe get the address? I could run some numbers on that. What are they asking on that? You have any pictures on it? And then I start doing that. So I always ask for anything else before I start running the numbers. Because now maybe instead of just comping 1, I could comp 4 from the same agent. So
John, I think, gosh, dang it, dude. That is fire, dude. I love what you said there. Jennifer said, so calling first seems key.
Yes.
I freaking love that. I love that. And it all goes back to this entire theme of this entire Zoom is being intentional, right? Yeah. I brought this up before, but for anybody who hasn't seen this yet, how many people in the chat, throw this in the chat, how many people have seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good movie.
I do that theme song every morning.
Carlos says
unintentionally. Unintentionally. I just start doing it. I'm like, oh shit, wait.
Al says, yep. Danny says, yes, sir. Jennifer. Okay, guys, right here. What is this? I'm gonna try to what is this scene right here?
Pen.
Sell me this
pen. Sell me this pen. Does everybody understand the actual exercise of, hey, sell me this pen? That was such a pivotal part in that movie. Does everybody actually understand what the purpose of that is? And it ties right into exactly what John and Anna and Maj are talking about. Gabby, it's the Wolf of Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
So sell me this pen. Jordan Belfort or Leonardo DiCaprio throws his friend a pen and says, sell me this pen. Now, those of you guys who watched it know what happened, but I just want you guys to understand the actual purpose of that exercise. Emily says, ask questions. 100%, Emily, you hit the nail on the head. Most people, when they approach sales or when they're talking to a realtor or a seller, they're trying to actually sell them. Oh, you need to buy this pen. It does all the shit. It colors in paste and it has, or in space, and it has 10 different colors and a highlighter on it. It has this amazing, a finger grip and it blah, 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 blah. Right? They start actually trying to sell you that shit. Well, what if I have 10 different pens in my pocket right now, or 100 different pens, or I'm literally buying another pen from somebody else right now? Do I actually need another pen? No. But so many people will spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, days, weeks on fixated on one thing. And they're sitting here trying to convince somebody to buy this pen from them.
Ooh.
And now they're getting other people involved. Hey, can you get on the phone with the seller or this agent and do this, 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 and this? And like John said, have you even talked to them? What's going on? Are they even interested? Oh, well, this is a flip. These guys are trying to pay their lenders off and put some money in their pocket. They're not motivated. They have to be at a certain price.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to understand wholesaling is a numbers game. You need to learn to disqualify people. And the only way that you do that is by getting on the phone with them first. Yeah. Hey, can you tell me about this property? What's going on? Well, Jesse, hey, how long you been in the market for a pen? Actually, I'm not in the market for a pen. Got it. Okay, cool. Do you know anybody who is? Actually, now that you mention it, yeah, my buddy Chris is in the market for a pen. Okay, cool. Let me reach out to Chris then. And it's a 30-second conversation. That way you guys, and you need to, and I hopefully you guys are drawing that correlation. That's exactly how a phone call more or less should go with either a seller or an agent as well. So you can disqualify, should be a 30-second, I'm being facetious here. Sometimes it can be a 30-second conversation. Sometimes it can be, in 5 minutes with a conversation with that agent, you'll know exactly what's going on and if they're actually motivated or not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, had you done it the other way, you would have spent 30 minutes comping that property, underwriting it for an Airbnb, seeing what it could rent for, trying to play tag with the realtor. And now you've wasted an entire day, maybe even 2 days, maybe a week, whatever, just trying to get one agent on the phone because from your perspective, you're like, oh my gosh, this would make an awesome rental. You have no idea what's going on with that seller. The only way that you know is by calling them first.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like wholesaling is a numbers game, but agent outreach is a relationship game. So you want to focus on those relationships. And I also, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to cut you off. One thing I did want to talk about, since there's a ton of sub-2 students on the phone, is how I'm able to get the agent to get the seller on the phone with me so I could have Chris or Colin pitch terms to them. Because I've never pitched terms to an agent. I just have the sub-2 student pitch it directly to the seller. And the way I do that is like, I won't even mention terms yet. I'll really run the numbers for cash, and I'll just call them back and just say something like, I don't think this is going to work for us. Like, if I find out that they're not selling it, I'll just be like, hey, well, I mean, I could give them a full price offer. The only thing is, though, your seller's gonna have to be open to terms. I'm not sure if they're ready for that conversation or not. What terms? I'm not really the creative guy on my team. My partner Colin is. So I just know we could do something where we could give them full price, maybe do something owner finance. Not too sure again, really. The best way we could go about this is we could open this up. We have a conference call with you, your client, me, and my partner. This way we could open it up to any questions you have, any questions they have, and we could get the lay of the land from them. And then we could kind of just have my partner and your client go back and forth and see if we give them full price, where they would need the terms to be at. So it makes sense for everybody and create a win-win. It's like, oh, my client's Well, listen, I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm not trying to waste mine. I just know 10 out of 10 times, if we can't have that initial conversation, we're going to be going back and forth so much and it's just not going to work out. So in order to save everybody's time, I think we had that initial call. Whenever they have any day and time, you'd let me know. And then after that initial conversation, we could get you like 3 to 4 different options. How's that sound? All right, cool. Let me call my seller and see. And then they go ahead and schedule the call. So.
And I
Love
think
it.
what's key about what you just said is the convincing part, right? Because a lot of people try to go and convince sellers or convince agents, and you're not trying to convince anybody. And this is something that I learned from Alex Ramosi actually, is when you're selling something, whether it's a service or yourself as somebody that can help, you're trying to help them. You're trying to help them make a decision, right? And that's what you're there to do, is to help them make a decision. And if they can't see how you're helpful in making that decision, you're not going to convince them to do otherwise. And that it's not going to work, right? So you have to identify if it's going to be a waste of time for you to even be in that conversation, or if there's actually room for you to help and they're open to you helping them, right? So by including the agent also, you're helping them in their egotistical ways to feel like they still have control over the situation, and you have opened the room to more conversation where everybody can work together. And that is what we're here to do essentially. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I emphasize, I'm like, I want you on the call too. You are representing that seller. I want you both on the call so that you could also give them some advice if there's something they're not communicating, or so I emphasize that I want them on that conversation. And you listen, if you pitch terms to an agent, it's like a game of telephone, right? If I tell Chris, these are my terms, like if I said the word watermelon, he goes back to Jesse and says pineapple, and we're not going to be able to work something out, So we want to have direct communication. So we want to have direct communication. So that's what I tell them too. And I also hit him with like, also like sometimes your seller is going to say something that you might not find important and they might not either, but it's actually really important for us when we underwrite the deal. So we really want to have that initial conversation. And then if from there out, I'll just communicate through you.
So
I have
John,
not got any pushback.
John, let me ask you this. Tasha in the comments said, I need that script. Now, do you have a script or are you just having a conversation?
I'm just having a conversation. I freestyle everything because it comes off more genuine. If I'm reading a script like that, it's going to come across like I'm reading a script. But you also want to come off that energy with like, I'm trying to help you get this forward. I want to push this forward. And I know when a lot of people start calling, and I was speaking to Chris and Jesse about this the other day, like when you first start calling sellers, low key, you're like, oh my God, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer. Like you're a little nervous, right? And when you first start calling agents, you're like, oh my God, please don't answer, please don't. You're gonna come across like nervous, and you're just gonna start like stuttering. But when you come across like, come on, baby, answer the phone, let's go. I want you to answer this damn phone, let's go. And when they don't, you're like, all right, let me call them again tomorrow. And you come across, and you're like, hey, how you doing? My name's John. Like, I want to make money with you. I want to solve your problems, and it comes off like that. And then you just have that put your own personality. Don't try to recreate what I do. Don't recreate what Chris does or Paige or Jamil, because you're not any of us. You're yourself. So have your own personality. Just come across as genuine. You're trying to help. You're trying to solve problems. Yeah, my cash offer might be low, but I have a whole nother thing I could do if you want full price. Let's have that conversation.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
So we have a couple minutes left here. There's so many questions they want to ask you, John. How do they reach out to you?
So you can reach out to me through text, through Instagram, but just want to give you a heads up. My Facebook Messenger and my text messengers are really backed up right now. I have a lot of texts I have to get through.
What's your Instagram?
What's happened?
What's your Instagram?
Can you drop it in the chat?
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat right now. And I make posts. So now, like for people that are just coming on, I'm doing a 90-day challenge where I have to post an IG every single day for 90 days. And today's day 15. And on my posts, I'm putting up like how I do this, how I do that, how these conversations sometimes flow, how to get through agent objections. Like, are you a wholesaler? This can't be assignable. So I'll add reels, I'll make posts. So I do that so I can try to help, because if I can't answer this, I at least could still provide value by doing that. So that's how I'm doing. And if you have anything like, I want you to post this, put it in the DM or put it in the chat, and I'll make a post on that.
Love that.
Let me put my John.
One last actually 2 last questions. This is from earlier. How do you conduct your monthly research for the Florida market?
I personally use Privy, and I will go ahead and look for, like, if I'm looking in Hillsborough County, I'll put in Hillsborough County, and I'll look for stuff that sold over the last like month from 10/1 to 10/31, and I'll do this on like November 1st, and I'll see what sold, and I'll click each property. I'll see if it was a flip, and then I'll go down and I'll see what are my headings for this. Let me see, because I obviously keep it in a spreadsheet, like I keep everything. It's just the accounting in me. So my columns in my spreadsheet, which I really look for, are, give me 1 second. So it's the street address, the city, the state, the zip code, because every zip code is different. Every zip code is essentially its own market. So I really want to see what zip codes are different. So the zip code, the purchase price that they bought it at, the sold price that it just sold at, the date they purchased it, the sold date, the gross profit, which is just the sale price less the purchase price, their percent of ARV, the source, did they get this direct to seller, we use public records, or did they get this from the MLS? Who's the buyer and the flipper? And then I put in the privy link to that page, so I could always just click it. And then the percent of ARV, it shows me like, well, I know most people in 33604 are buying around 55 to 57%, but people in 33610 are buying around like 48%. So I know if I have something in 33610, I can't lock it up at 52%. So that's also why I look at the zip codes too. And then the ARV percentage is just literally just the sell price less divided by the purchase price divided by the sold price. That's what shows me what they're picking up overall gross.
Perfect. And last question is from Ray.
Ray, come on down, dude. Oh wait, hey, let's make this a big deal. Let's make this a big deal. Ray Nettles, welcome to the stage.
Love that.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What up, dude?
What's going on, man? Let me turn this camera around. All right, cool. Man, shout out to you fellas, man. Shout out John, man. I've loved your IG post, bro.
Thank you.
Keep the fire. Hey, shout out to Derek Barton too, man. I sent out a message earlier on Discord this week about just trying to get some information about the Gator lending, and Derek messaged me and just gave me a little bit of clarification. So shout out to Derek. I saw him on there earlier too. Yeah. So yeah, and then Chris and Jesse and Colin too. Colin, are you in here somewhere?
I think he's in here.
Old C. Gibbs. I think he's in here helping make some dreams come true. There he is. I see him.
Yeah, Chris, man, I will talk about this later, man. But in January 2016, I did a 30-day fast, just water. But yeah, so I know what you went through to doing that 21-day, man. I did 30.
Chris, what a wuss, dude. You're
right.
Now, man.
Right. January 2016, man. We'll talk about that on the side, but I don't want to get distracted. So John, question. Okay, so on your offer, check, defer. Okay, so do you have a number where you say, okay, I'm going this far below list price with my offer, where you explain to the agent and the seller why you went that low, so it's a quality offer? Because what you were saying earlier was you don't want to just shoot out like super low offers and it's not a quality offer, and then you kind of like sour the relationship. Do you, like, if you say, all right, I'm going to offer this 60 or 70 below, do you have a cutoff number where you say, hey, I'm going to actually explain this, like my comps, my ARV, whatever? Do you have like a number if you go like below the off?
It depends. It depends how they take when I tell them like my ARVs at X. So based on that, I have to be in the high ones. It's like, how'd you get that? Like I had an agent give their seller my number, and they called me up because they were another investor, and they were like, how'd you get that number? It's super low. And I explained it to him. I was like, well, based on if it's like $40 a square foot, like it's in this, it's a wood frame. But so like I do have, like, when I'm running my ARV, there's a reason I got that ARV, right? Based on the comps. And just because I know buyers are buying a certain percentage, I just know based on the questions I ask the agent to factor that into, you know, my offer price and my explanation. So when somebody asks me, you know, how'd you get that? It's based off of everything they told me already. Like, oh, I have to replace a roof. It's going to run me this much. I got to do that. I got, you know, an ARV is only this. Typically, I'm all in for around, you know, 53% on something that's going to need this much work. You know, might seem hard for you, but that's just a cost that's coming in for me and my team. Like, you know, if inflation's running crazy, like materials, it's through the roof. So it's, even if I don't know how much it is personally, like you could use that. And if you say anything confidently, it's going to come across like you know what you're talking about. I could just say like Mercury's in retrograde, so materials are really coming on like $30 extra a square foot, and it's just really throwing off my company, you know. So think about, all right, well, let me know when Mercury's out of retrograde, and then maybe we could do some deals together. Cool, sounds good. You know, like be confident over the phone, because you just got to know, you sound like you know what you're talking about, even if you don't. So I'm just confident when I talk about that, and I will generally on wholesale hotline to tell you $40 a square foot for cosmetic, you know, $60 a square foot for full rehab, $8 a square foot for a full gut. So you could even use that if you want to estimate repair rehab. Some might say like that's really big. So start talking to contractors in the area and just get an understanding of where it's at. Talk to your friends. What are you seeing for $1 per square foot? So you could have that argument, even if you don't factor that into your offer. So I just explained to them, like, this is where my numbers are coming back at. This is how I run them. And I listen, if you want me to buy the house, I got to be here. I'm not going to come up to your number. It's not going to make sense for me. So I'm stuck at this price. If you want to get something done, let's do it. If not, let's see if we can get your seller on the phone and we could have a conversation about creative.
So you always explain that before you send the offer. So you don't send the like really low offer based off of their list price until you explain that, like where they get that sticker shock, like, wow, this is like 80K under what I listed. So you always like explain that first before the offer.
I just tell them where my ARV is at, and my offer is always a result of where my ARV is, because I'm gonna have to put in X amount to reach that price when I sell it. So in order for me to protect myself, I'm gonna have to be at this price, you know. And yeah, I might factor in 10K more in my budget, and I always make the joke, like, how many rehabs have you done? How many times have they actually been on budget, or how many times have they gone over? 9 out of 10 times they're going over budget. So I got to factor that in too.
Okay. So you basically explain it first before your offer. So
if I'm 50K below, I'll just shoot it out. But you also have to pay attention to the days on market. A lot of people, if you're like 35 days on market and you're going to send out to a buyer 10K below list price, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to, once you hit that 30 plus days, you're going to need to be end price to a buyer at least 30K below the list price. Even if it makes sense, 20K below. You're going to have to shoot it out to them. You're going to have to get it at least 40K below list. Once you're like over 50, 60 days, 70 days on market, you're going to want to switch that to now be like anywhere from 70 to 80K below list price. And then once you reach the 100 plus, like once you get to like 100, 150, you're probably going to want to be 100K below list. And that's just for buyer's ego, you know, but anything that's under like 5 days, you're going to want to have the conversation with your buyers. Like, hey, if I bring you something that the numbers make sense for you and it's at or slightly above list price, are you still a buyer of this? Yeah. Okay, cool. So anything I get, but those are for new listings. But you want to set the standard for them. Like, hey, I might be sending you stuff that are still deals, but they're maybe a little bit above sticker price or
you know what? Price. That could probably be what you just hit on. That could probably be a whole little Zoom coaching training all together, which you just hit. You said buyer's ego. You know what I mean? Because that's something I would like to explore, like with and learn a little bit more about, like with more experienced wholesalers and investors. But okay, so yeah, quick question: if you're having a problem getting an agent on the phone, get them to call you back or whatever, but you see a property that they're the listing agent on that you want to put an offer on, how many attempts will you make to try to reach them by phone? Because I know you want to have that conversation. Anna and Maj and everybody else was talking about having that conversation with the agent, building that rapport and all that stuff. So I know how key that is, but you can't reach them. How many attempts do you make before you just shoot that text and like, hey, I want to send the offer. What's your email? I want to send LOI or whatever.
So I'll call, I'll leave a voicemail, and then I'll shoot them a text message. No answer. Tomorrow, call, voicemail, text. No answer. 3 days later, call, voicemail, text. No answer. A week later, call, voicemail, text. I'll do that 4 or 5 times throughout the month. But but I'll change up my text. Like I'll call them, I'll leave them a voicemail. Hey, this is John again. You know, I'm really interested in your property at X. Please give me a call back. I got some questions. I would love to place an offer on this property. And then I shoot him a text saying almost the same thing. Hey, this is John Galan again. I'm an investor in Florida. I really want to offer on your property at X, but I have some questions. Can you please give me a call so I could get them answered and send you over an offer? So I'll always follow up with them multiple times. If after 4 or 5 attempts, if the property's still listed and it's a property I really want, then only then will I insert a buyer's agent that knows I wholesale the property just to get a hold of that agent. That's the only time I really insert buyer's agents. I'm always going direct to listing agent, but if I can't get in touch with them and I like that property and I'm not too far off, I'll have a buyer's agent send it out to me because they could get in touch with them sometimes. But yeah, and you could email them too. Sometimes they just respond to emails. So I'll call, voicemail, text, and shoot them an email if I have their email. If I don't, call, voicemail, text every single time.
Okay. So no offer until you've at least communicated with them through text.
I don't know anything about the property.
Right. No offer. No blind shooting out blind offer.
No, because what happens if I call them and they say the roof is 2000, the HVAC's 2003, and you know, the electrical panel's cloth wiring, you have to rewire the whole house, and I sent them an offer for a cosmetic fixer.
Right.
And I get it accepted. You know what I mean? So you want to have that conversation. You want to get the story of the house first, and then you want to write your offer and send it out to them.
Correct. Sometimes if I really want to get a hold of them, I will also call the brokerage and leave a message for them, because there's a higher incentive, because now there's other people that know that being sought after, and they don't want to disappoint the brokerage. So
Yep. I forgot to touch on that. Calling office numbers is huge. Just leave a voicemail. Hey, I've been trying to get in touch with X. I called you like 3 times last week. Anything you want to say, but just office numbers are huge too. Sometimes the assistant says, "Oh, that number's not working anymore. Here's their new cell phone." Cool. All right. So yeah, good. Anna, that's huge. I forgot to mention that. I've been implementing that recently, and it's been working a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. So should you go every day? Like if so, call, text every day, and
voicemail. Don't forget voicemails too.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll do that every day. Yeah. Cool. So last thing I just wanted to mention, Jesse, man, you mentioned when you were talking mindset to the whole group, you said you're so lasered in and you're so focused that you feel like you got 3 days instead of 1 now, because you're so intentional with your time and you're so laser focused. I would recommend, I just started this book this week. So for everybody in here, there's this like personal development coach, like real successful business guy. His name is Ed Mylett, Mylett. He's got this book called The Power of Now. I'm like listening to that now, like by audiobook, and if you want to get like laser focused like Jesse is, where you feel like you got 3 days instead of 1 because you're so intentional and you're time blocking, I would recommend that to all of you guys, because he talks about that too, and he breaks it down on how you can break your day down and be so laser focused and so intentional where you feel like you're accomplishing 3 days worth of stuff in 1 day. So you're like, how's that possible? But yeah, they break it down, and Jesse's obviously an example of it, because I'm pretty sure he's doing it, because that's what he said. So that was it. That was all I have for you guys.
I
appreciate you, Ray.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
That was
Yes, sir.
Some great insight. And yeah, Ed Mylett is definitely a great one to look at. A couple other books out there. I think you guys already know the Who Now How. I had to think about it for a second. But
never split the difference too, fellas. Never. I mean, everybody never split the difference too.
Yeah.
The breakthrough code.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate you asking those specific questions. Anna and Maj, you guys are amazing as well. Those who don't know, Anna and Maj is part of our Third Mind business as well. So, you know, they're phenomenal individuals. They're amazing on the phones, and yeah, they're truly, guys, thank you for everything you do. I know I don't say it like too much, but I just want to throw that out there. We really truly appreciate everything you're doing for us and with us as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. We love working with you guys.
We're definitely pro Team Mana.
Yeah.
I like that Brangelina thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
John, you're phenomenal, man. Every day you're always killing it. There's nothing going to stop you. So You know, I'm not going to say, "Oh, keep doing what you're doing," because you're going to do it, man. Jesse, I and Colin, we truly appreciate everything that you've done and the value provided today. The comments, to be full transparent, I could not keep up in the Facebook group, along with some of the comments that was in here. But overall, a lot of people will reach out to you. I'm just they say they're going to reach out. Looking at some of the Facebook comments right now, but yeah, man, tell them one more time before we part ways today. What is your Instagram?
Yeah, so my Instagram is John_Galan, my last name, Galan, and then 12. That's my Instagram. One thing I do want to touch on is when you reach out, like if you reach out to me, if I don't get back to you for a while, or same thing if you reach out to like Chris and Jesse and or anybody else that you see that are active a lot, if we don't reach out to you or get back for a little while, it has nothing to do with the fact that we're ignoring you or that we didn't see your text message. It's just a lot of the times there's so much going on in the day-to-day with the business and the teams and responding out to people. So we will get back to you eventually, but I don't want anybody to take it personally if it takes me like maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks to respond back. Because I do respond back to everybody. Just sometimes it's a little overwhelming when you have a lot coming in. So when we want to respond, we want to help everybody we can. So don't ever think take it personally if it takes us a while to get back to you. That goes for me, Chris, anybody that's doing a lot or that's really vocal. Just know there's a lot coming in, so we're doing our best to just get everything out. Chris and Jesse, man, I can't thank you guys enough. It's been an absolute honor to be able to speak on here and just like share what I've learned through my process and my experience. You guys have been a huge help to me with understanding how to pitch creative and opening up another doorway to my offers. And just like Colin too. I speak to Colin every single day. We've become really close. We're good friends now. So you guys are amazing. I've grown so much since we have started working together, so much more than I would have if you guys were not in my life. So again, thank you so much for just being amazing. Just an amazing team, just always being go-givers and helping out the community and just everything. So we may be in different mentorships, but we're all part of the same community, and it's just beautiful when we all come together. We just share wisdom, share knowledge, and overall just talk mindset, man. I just love chopping it up with you guys. So it's just been an amazing ride, and thank you for being on my journey with me.
Thank you,
John.
man.
Thank you so much for the kind words today, man. And thank you for being a part of this as well. I can honestly say, because of you and because the value you brought today to myself, to Chris, to everybody here, I can speak for Chris and I, man. We are both better today than we were yesterday because of you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, bro. I really appreciate you. I love you. I cherish our friendship, our partnership. I love that we can get in here. And I mean, it's Saturday afternoon. Look how many people are still here, dude. We got almost 60 people in the Zoom. We got people watching on Facebook. Saturday afternoon, man. People are here talking mindset, elevating themselves, elevating their circumstances. They have people, they have family, they have individuals that are relying on them to become that person. And we're all here having these types of conversations, man, instead of Netflixing and chilling. We're choosing to spend our 86,400 seconds a little bit differently today. So appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And if you guys have deals, don't send them to my Facebook. If you want to do deals with me, if I resonate with you, please don't send them to my Facebook. Don't shoot me a text. I'm going to put an email in the chat. Send any deals you want me to help sell or dispo or get advice on to the email that I'm about to throw in there. Because it's going to get lost. I'm telling you right now. So let me just put that in there right now.
And thank you guys for spending your Saturday with us as well. We truly appreciate it. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys, coming out here and taking action and asking questions and just doing it with intention, trying to be better than we were the day before. 1% better every day, guys. Just consistency, time blocking. For those of you guys who took screenshots and you actually posted and tagged Pace and Carly on there and expressed your gratitude, everybody who likes, everybody who responds to those, make sure you guys are getting in there and go into the comments and say, hey, what are you doing? Are you part of the Elephant Challenge? Why or why not? If you're not, get in here, do this with me. Let's be accountability partners. Let's hop on a call this week Let's be intentional. Let's make some fucking money together, guys. Let's change our lives and our circumstances. Let's elevate each other.
Yes. You guys are the best, man. This is the
Appreciate
best
you, John.
accountability call there is. You guys are awesome.
Love
Much
you, brother.
appreciated,
Thank you.
man.
Zach, thanks for
Yes.
jumping in. Al, thanks for being here. Mana, Colin, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Derek, thanks for being here, man. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We're here every Saturday afternoon. Please help us grow this. We're here just to help you guys. That's it.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Love you. You guys have a good week. Stay consistent. We'll talk with you guys soon.